The scammers online spreading their lies, pumping stocks with dollar signs in their eyes. But we see through the noise, cut through the mold, calling out fraudsters. Truth be told, hey, expose the lies, let the story unfold. Truth be told, yeah, shining the light on the tricks they sold. No hype, no spin, we bring the facts, let the truth roll in. Fraudsters beware, your game's getting old. We're taking it back when truth be told. Truth be told. Truth be told. And the truth shows.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of Truth Be Told. Welcome to the crew that all have pending litigation against them in the next 3 months.
I'm not running with Bear. He's good. He's fine.
Running with Bears is good. He's not going to get sued. He's just going to be a witness. Get ready for that deposition. I'm sure it'll be fun. But we figured we'd bring you back because we had a bit of a crazy time. Fun 3 hours, but they didn't really go very far in any particular direction. So we figured we'd get you here to maybe zero in on some things and hopefully get an idea before we like to put a wrap on this. This is like a 3-part series. You know, we had, what was it? Well, technically it's 4 parts. We had him December. So, I guess we're going for the next trilogy, maybe.
Well, wait till his next financials come out. I'm sure it's going to be.
We got the financials coming out. That's going to be very, very interesting. And then I think there's going to be a capstone. You know, that's. I'm trying to start a capstone. I'm trying to put a prediction market on Kalshi. Will Josh Cohen be charged with a securities crime in 2026?
Okay.
I like the idea that I came up with.
Well, he's watching it.
So he was running into 2026. I think that's
you got to put a deadline on that. Make it interesting.
Yeah.
Well, we should say hi to Josh, and we should give a special shout out to Michael.
Michael. Oh yes, Michael. The totally not Josh after AI had put the.
Can you pull up the?
But the best part is, I'm a CEO level operator who's built businesses from zero scaled revenue. And look at his thing: Vision Oil and Gas and Penn State University. No, this is totally not Josh.
Yeah, no, that's also material misrepresentation. Can you pull up the GIF that you made, the overlay?
Oh, I can. It's in
the thing. How funny was that?
Oh my goodness, give me 1 second here. Let me make it full screen and then throw it over here real quick. And then the mystery is solved.
Like Clark Kent.
Like wow.
Literally, because it's like taking the glasses off, right?
Yeah.
That guy would pass. You know, what are those spy movies? You have eye recognition. That is exact. They must be brothers or something.
We did an iris analysis.
An iris analysis. Zoom, enhance.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of entertaining points. Like I was watching back and trying to clip, but I did think we figured out a few like very crucial things. The inventory answer, the oil and gas natural properties, like, we didn't really get time to press him on, but there was definitely a lot
of research over the course of the week that went down.
Right. I mean,
Running with Bears, who's an actual CPA, listened to the whole thing and had some thoughts.
Feisty group. That was I just. I struggle because I like to do these things, but like I like to do it from a teaching standpoint. But like the main thing for me was like, I mean, it's Josh has done time at PwC. Like I'm not gonna like throw stones at the guy. I kind of wish he would.
Amy, your background is loud. Still.
Mine?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I know what I'm taking.
Microphone off, not your camera. Good.
least-
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
At least when I've taken my first couple CFO gigs, it's easy to get down in the weeds, right? When it's not really the job. And if I've got a CEO arguing like inventory and accounts payable stuff, that's not really great at the time, and because he's probably too busy to be like diving into the weeds at that level, right? And then it just gets heated and then you're off to the races, right? Because there's some things that kind of give me pause on the statements. I'm not going to throw stones at the guy, but it's just some things. If he had maybe an outside firm review it and then another firm audit it, I think it'd go a long way and kind of like, clearing the air on some of the stuff. Inventory is a big topic because it's a big number, right?
Right.
The CapEx through AP is a big topic.
Yeah, we did get his answer there. You say you're not going to bash the guy. This, public markets, marketing to retail investors. And one pointed out, it'd be one thing if he's just acting as CEO and CFO, and it's a small company and he's making mistakes, but he's willfully making these mistakes, as we've sort of confirmed over and over again. And I think this is purposeful balance sheet inflation, which is, something that I think deserves. I hear the background too, but it deserves all the scrutiny.
Is it still bad?
Yeah, just mute your mic when you're not talking. That's all.
And yeah, he ended up sending us did you see that Running with the Bulls? Did you see
I did pass it on to him.
Yeah, it seemed like at first glance. So just for the audience sake, when you say inventory, right, like Gap is, not to go nerd on it, but like there are some topics that are just specifically defined because they have got specific definitions, right? Inventory being one, like it's going to be stuff that you're holding for sale, right? That's going to convert into COGS because it's part of generating revenue. So when I see like 14 million in inventory, that's almost entirely the current assets. That out of the gate would give me pause, right? And it's just on a valuation standpoint, and then to see the same number in the equity section, like that's almost never the case, because when you're going to acquire inventory, let's say you acquire it through some JV or something, there's going to be generally like a gain or loss on it, right? You're going to have to value the inventory at lower cost of market, and you're going to buy it for similar value, right? So almost never, at least in my experience, do I see like it's inventory for $14 and then an equity for $14, right? There's going to be a gain or loss in the middle of that. So that was just kind of like something. But then when I went through the files, a lot of it looked not inventory related to me, more like rental tools and that kind of thing, which if you're renting out tools for purposes of generating revenue, that would fall in PPE, not inventory, right? So if this is truly inventory, it's stuff you're going to sell once and it's gone.
And just to step in briefly, because I know I asked this question, maybe some people in the audience would have this question if they're not nearly as experienced in financial markets. What does it matter that it's inventory or PPE? An asset is an asset.
Working capital, that's the thing. So like when banks look at like how liquid your company is, the assumption is inventory is going to be a lot more liquid, right? So if I'm going to lend you money and I'm going to look at probably your books to see if it goes to, where can I liquidate the stuff on the books to get some sort of recovery, right? So if I have a bunch of inventory on hand, I know I can probably wholesale it and get at least maybe half of it out. But if you got like a bunch of PP fixed assets, it's going to be harder to move that. It's going to be like niche buyers in a smaller market, so it's going to be a lot harder to get recovery that way. So, but to go back to your original question, it's because when you look at how liquid a company is, like inventory goes into that number, right? So if you remove,
which is why this is in current assets, not other assets here.
Yeah, because typically the common metric is current assets over current liabilities, right? And depending on the firm, you generally want to see at least a 1-to-1 ratio, right? Depending on the sector and all that good stuff. So if I can pump my inventory up, at least short term, I can increase my current assets or my current liabilities, and I look a little healthier that way, right?
Whereas if you took away that 14 million, his current liabilities would be way over his current assets.
Yeah. And then so if you dump all that in long term, it's just a different story, right? And then you compare the 14 million against the current revenue, and it gets murky, right? Not bad, just gets murky.
Yeah, and you also mentioned something about the pricing of the inventory. Like, let's assume even if it goes in inventory, I think you mentioned something about inventory should be marked as either the lowest of the cost to make them or the market value, whichever is lower. And that's just to be like conservative, I assume, or
Maybe you're unmuted again.
Yeah, so because I heard mark to market being brought up, and that's so yeah. If we're talking inventory, it's always lower of cost or market, right? That's a gap thing. So it's got to be it's lower of its historical cost or the current market like replacement cost. So just because I can sell it for $100, I don't book it on my balance sheet for 100, right? If I'm actually buying it from a vendor for say like $50, then that's what you put it at 50, right? So when I see like pricing sheets to substantiate inventory values, that kind of gives me pause. So yeah, you really need to see either what it costs to build it or like what it costs to buy from a vendor, and that's how I'm going to evaluate the inventory, not off.
Yeah. But the thing is, he's paying in shares for all of these properties. That like, how would you account for the fact? And then I'll address the numbers that he actually gave anyway. But how would you? These are not market rates, right? Like he's just saying it's worth that much and dealing shares for all these properties and all that, and the inventory as well.
Yeah, like my redneck view of what he was doing, it seemed like he got 14.8 and that was the value of the shares. That's what we tagged the inventory to make the accounting simple, is kind of what I felt like he was doing. Where normally what I would do is I would have someone independent come in and evaluate what if it's a slow moving, not easy to turn inventory. There's third parties that come in and evaluate. Let's say it's worth $5. Let's say I sold shares to get that and I actually earned $10, then I would book the inventory at 5, and the 5 is going to be a gain on the inventory acquisition. You have equity at 10 and you balance, right? When I see it dollar for dollar the same on inventory equity, it's just something I would probably a third party poke at.
Did you look at the actual values of what he gave? Because I did the math on it, I pressed him on this. So if I was wrong, I'm sure he would have said, no, it's actually 400, 500. But in what he sent us, there's 48 completed cores, like completed jars. The rest are just parts. And then I look at where he's saying it's kept, and it's a 3,000 square foot, like small shop in Porter, Texas. So you expect me to believe that there's $14.3 million in a 3,000 square foot shop, that he also said like this business hasn't grown. He gave us the revenue numbers for this year before it went dark because they stopped reporting. I mean, it went to expert market. It had $1.2 million of revenue. So the business isn't growing. The business had $3 million of inventory, supposedly, put a discount on that when it went dark. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it has $14 million of inventory to contribute. Let's just say that that's all of their inventory. It's not like they had 17 and gave him 14 in order to keep the same $3 million of inventory. At the gross margins, which varied over the prior statements, 20% to like, even if it's 50%, you have to come up with $5.5 million of cash in order to generate that. And he wasn't able to answer that. So where did the money come from if it's actually worth that much? And I highly suspect it isn't, because 48 jars on the price that he gave, which double checking with other people is too high, especially for a boutique shop like that nobody's heard of. That at $17,000, that's somewhere around 800 grand. And then all of the, the unmaintenanced cores that haven't been put together, they're disassembled, add another 400 grand to that, whatever, you're talking about a write down of $13 million. And that's where it looks like to me is entirely balance sheet inflation. And this $14.3 million, like it's the second biggest line on the balance sheet, but I have huge questions about the $148 million. And I've had that from the get-go, because the valuations of producing assets at $50,000 a barrel, even if he gets to the $1,000 per barrel, I don't think that anyone would pay that for $1,000 a barrel, which is his goal and guidance for this year. So I think the balance sheet is a negative because you look at the ARO, and then you have no cash flow, as we went over 100 different times. So this business is worth zero.
I'm actually interested because I know we had some back and forth discussions running with Bears, the liabilities when it comes to the oh man, what's the term? I completely blanked on it. Yeah, the plugging obligations and all of that stuff and everything. And I know we kind of ham-fisted went over it 2 weeks ago when you were last here, and then you did some more research on it. And so some of these, oh yeah, there it is, retirement asset obligations. Those two kind of tie into each other, like the value as far as the properties, and then I've double checked the math, at least for this last period, as far as that number. So I feel fairly confident that number being correct. The question then is the assets compared to that. And is it just trying to balance out the fact that,
But I feel like I can on high confidence say that how he valued the oil and gas properties based on the last call, I said it multiple times, but he was zooted. So I don't know if, I tried to get him to answer and he went off on a different direction. But he said he took the ARO and he added the purchase price. That was my takeaway. That's how he got
That's what it sounded like to me too.
That's how he got to the 148
I
million.
know that when it came to the deals, when we started out at the beginning, what jumped out at me on rewatch was that when he valued the deal, he took the cost of, what was it? He took how much he paid for it in shares and then added in the value he assumed the assets were to get the total value of the assets, which was really weird to me because, just to give a brief example, here with the Kenview deal that I'm kind of in, where they give you the total, value of the deal as how much they're paying in shares plus cash as the value of the deal. They're not wrapping in Kenview's, balance sheet plus the cost of the deal and then trying to make a valuation off of that. So yeah, I get what you're saying there. There's a lot that's just kind of all over the place with these valuations.
I mean, let's ask the resident accountant. Is there some sort of accounting rule where if you acquire liabilities, like for me, that's debt, right?
Yeah.
And maybe he can very effectively hire people to plug all these things for less than the ARO, and it's not actually $125 million of work, right? And he can take away the liability by plugging it with his dirt work geniuses and construction geniuses and, get the cheapest concrete in the world and do it right so that they don't come back and fine you bigly. But there's no cash for that. There's no cash flow for that. So is there an accounting sense where you would have to put equity to balance the book of it? Like, does that become an asset?
Does it become an asset it's so the part that gets, so when you buy assets, if I buy something for $10 and it's only worth $8, the difference is $2, obviously, and the difference goes to goodwill, right? Or equity is a plug, effectively. So the equation is assets equals liabilities plus equity, right? So you got to balance the two sides. So if we go back to the original inventory, and I think where I'm going to be irritating is we're going to come at this from different angles. I know you come to this financial analysis. What is this firm actually worth? And just with me having a license, when that's telling me stuff maybe off a little bit, I'm going to look at it coming in more from the technical, is the technical treatment correct, right? So when you go back to the inventory question, it's more like I think you're on the right track in the sense that like look at the files because inventory is heavily audited, right? So like, can we specifically identify this stuff? What is the value? The value felt high, right? 14.3 million, and I say that because the equity amount was for the exact same, right? So if you got, and it really comes down to disclosures on this stuff, right? Like, is it disclosed and can investors feel comfortable like he's spelled this out and people can reasonably back into okay, there's 100 of this, and it's sitting there, and like I can get to the 14 million. I think it was kind of a struggle when I was looking at it. And on the ARR side, he did say he didn't discount. He did not discount the obligation, and that is not GAAP. I'm not a whole guy, but GAAP is super specific, and you're supposed to discount this because you're going to close. It's the future claim on these wells, right? So you need to discount to present value, meaning if it's going to be $100 claim in the future, you don't book $100 now. You book the $10, and you expand it each year to eventually meet the 100, right? But if you book the whole 100, is grossly overstated, right? Because into the ARO goes how many years you think it's going to take before you have to, what the life is, how much expense is going to take, the timing of the expense can vary, and interest rate, right? So if you just using round numbers, if I had like a $30 million like future value, I could monkey with it, and I could get that all the way down to like 2 million on my balance sheet if I wanted to, right? And I'd be within GAAP because I've got numbers behind it and I got documentation. So my big thing for the ARO was like those are huge numbers, right? So when I looked at disclosures for other companies, they were more like, here's the starting, here's the change, here's our methodology. We think it's going to be this. So I could reasonably think, okay, they've done the math on this, right? It's just, and then when you see an even bigger number on the asset side, it's like, is there support for that? Like that's my main thing, right? So I'm probably more irritated in the sense that I want to be slower to like lobster over the fence. So I want to see the math on it, right?
So what you're saying is the ARO is too high, but if he discounted it correctly, it would come over in the equity sheet, even if these are orphaned wells. As like what I'm trying to reconcile is my job's not to be an accountant, right? It's to figure out what is this balance sheet worth, and what I'm trying to figure out is the accounting, minus the fact that it's too high, because like for me, a fraudster would just acquire liabilities for shares in order to boost the book value and show assets, and then go on social media and talk about how many assets he has. But technically, if you make an acquisition, the value aside, you would take the liabilities and you would add the purchase price on the balance sheet pro forma. It's a question.
Oh, sorry, I was thinking about look on these two values. I think he said that he he didn't discount them. I just think he grossed them up, like, and he admitted it as such, right? I think what he thought was a conservative approach to put the big numbers on. Because if I was going to think someone was going to do fraud in this, I would not gross these up. I mean, if I was going to do it fraudulent, I would keep these at more normal value, because just not having so little revenue against such a high balance sheet, that's a red flag in itself, right? Like you're not generating cash flows against monster assets, right?
Right. But this is the same guy that's going around, in multiple posts, and all he's saying is that he has $155 million of assets. And this isn't, so yes, like if you're intelligent, you wouldn't do that, because anyone that understands financial statements would look at this and be like, wait a minute, how much cash do you have? How much of a liability do you have?
I know,
but
man.
I don't think,
with 20K cash, 250K restricted cash, and then you've got all this, like you said, grossed up, and then your revenue stream is like,
like 20K cash is enough to plug one well.
You know what, having talked with Bronco, I'd say 20K cash is maybe enough to plug a well, but like doing some of the stuff that he's talking about, there's no way. No, if he's bringing these wells supposedly online, 20K is getting you fucking nowhere.
Okay, well, that's the very interesting part, right? Because he talked about how he's getting vendor financing, and we saw that crazy line nobody's ever seen before.
Let's get to the cash flow statement. It's running with Bear's favorite part of the financial.
I do love this statement. Where dreams go to die.
Because that's a non-cash
Where
balance.
dreams go to die.
Right. And it doesn't even add up to the PP&E, but like we're saying, it's inventory. So it's just, but the most interesting thing on that was his discussion about how his servicers see the vision, right? And they just like trust him.
Defer the CapEx expense to him and just take it as a accounts payable.
Right. Which who in their right mind would do that? And then of course, I'm curious and I start looking into every known associate, come to Brent Franklin, who owns Endeavor Energy. And the speculation that I have is that Brent Franklin, as a financier, as a guy that raises money from retail investors through info ads in order to get into oil and gas as a tax haven and alternative source of income, is actually the one that's funding that. So I think what you see here, which we didn't get to press him
this
on,
whole spreadsheet that you put together, kind of
right,
thing?
right.
Okay.
So Brent Franklin, somehow Rudolfo Tijerina, as a geologist, managed to buy millions of dollars of wells. Where did that money come from? I believe Brent Franklin. And Marcus Lawn, like we have a circular effect of Josh is advising the deal through where is it? Controlled controlled investments.
Yeah.
Where Marcus Lawn is an advisor, but he's advising deals at which he's acquiring. And none of these are related parties that are listed. And the only related part, like the related party disclosure he came out with after seeing it on live, I was like, oh my God, he's admitting right here to not like, and then he was saying it was not material. It's not for you to decide what's material. If any reasonable person would think it's material,
Right. Why don't you explain that maybe a little bit, running with Bears, like how, if you were an auditor or you were doing the accounting for a company, what justifies putting a related party on there, and what sort of, like, maybe as Nick explains these sort of transactions, where not saying whether Nick is right in his assumptions or not, but where about this is this starting to be something that needs to be maybe disclosed, or where, how would it be put on something like a financial statement?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's like, sometimes not material, if those aren't aware, like, because I do hear people throwing that word around. Material means, if something's immaterial, it means if the number changes to a certain degree, like, I don't care. It doesn't change my thesis on the company. If it becomes material, then it moves the needle so much that, like, now I think differently about the company, right? So if you're looking at, like, related party disclosures, if I was an auditor, I have a pretty low dollar value and I'd want to see stuff disclosed, right? It's like, I'm just more like, the older I get, like, lack of disclosure is what kills these things, right? And it erodes trust. So if it's minor I would just throw it in, because there's no penalty for disclosing this stuff, right? So if you're touching cash, if it's an operational effect.
You're kind of chopping up there a little bit, buddy.
Oh, in my mind, if you're touching cash, if it changes the operation, or there's off-balance liability stuff, I would disclose that at a pretty low dollar value for related party stuff.
So, my understanding is if you've done business with someone in the past 10 years with a material financial interest, if you get into a new deal with them, that should be disclosed.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And auditors, unless they're garbage, are going to lean on the side of disclosing everything. If it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. You know, if it's not material, at least it's there. Nobody can argue that it is material.
Because it covers everyone's ass. Why not just disclose it to just be safe?
Nobody typically reads that stuff anyway. You know, it's like, it's, you know, you only read that stuff when you have, you know, smoke and there's like blatant fires here. And, you know, pretty much, I would imagine every single acquisition he's made has not been, you know, just popped on his desk. It's all people that he knows or have been connected to, people that he's done business before. And my running thesis on this is that it is an asset inflation, you know, toxic asset, put it into a public shell where they can find liquidity and get retail investors to throw, as we're seeing on the investor boards, hundreds of thousands of dollars. You know, there's not many of them. It's not that big of a company, but there's definitely, I mean, unverified, but people saying that they've put hundreds of thousands of dollars and are down six figures in this name because it's the greater fool, right? You can say that there's a $5 billion reserve. We're going to drill 9,000, 12,000 feet. We're going to frack, you know, and the idea, like, if you throw a big number out there, if you put $155 million in your assets, and then you're just tweeting out about the $5 billion reserve and the $155 million of assets, not talking about the liabilities, not talking about the downside, like that is, you know, in securities law, you're not allowed to make statements that say just the dream scenario bull case. You have to say that there's risk involved at the very least. And that is something that Josh Cohen hasn't done. And the reason why I'm so involved in this story is because there are people that are going to have gotten and will get hurt more in the future as long as you let this go. And the SEC will move like snails around stuff like this. And since this has become, you know, a social media thing, thank God, you know, we're starting to see, you know, a lack of faith in something that could have gotten uglier had, you know, reasonable minded, intelligent, or half intelligent, in my case, people started looking at, you know, how ridiculous this is. There's no financial benefit. You can't short this stock, you know?
No.
Well, that's the funny thing about this discussion is like he was crying about naked shorts again, and then was showing like his like short interest, which is like 1,000 shares.
Well, actually, he was
comparing-
showing short volume. And
Well, they were both on there, and then the screen cap he took. I'm not showing it because I have it saved for later, and I think Platinum and Amy know what later is.
Yeah, which, by the way, that short volume, you know, is some really small market maker.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, it's just someone making a market on the massive spread because there's no liquidity in this stock. That's not somebody shorting this stock. It's just somebody making a market, you know,
yeah, they're getting
the seller for a buyer,
mm-hmm.
right? The people that were selling at 50 cents and then it went down to 42 cents, blasting off, those are people losing faith in Josh Cohen. The idea that there's a ladder
people who at like when he was complaining about it's been dropping since November, since all this bad news came out, it's like your stock ran from like a handful of pennies I could have found under my couch cushion to being like $2.60. Of course, people eventually are going to take profits on this, you know, at some point. They're not just going to sit here in infinitum. And I mean, there's some meme stock baggies that probably will do that, but like,
right. I mean,
the vast majority of people are going to take profits at some point.
Yeah, it looks like the typical bubble chart. Is there any chance you can pull up the screen grab I had on the chart? Because his allegation of it being a ladder attack.
Yeah.
It's like the exact opposite of what a ladder attack would look like.
Yeah, and I think he like came on Twitter, started screaming about shorts, and then like Baggy sort of like were drawn
into
to
that.
him, and then they all started like with their
Let's see if I
baggy
can
logic
find it.
about ladder attacks and stuff like that. And all of a sudden, he's just like parroting it. It's like typical baggy behavior when you don't really know what you're talking about, and
Is
you're
this
just like
the chart?
saying
Right.
words. Can y'all hear me?
So look at all the green candles.
You know, I can hear you. I was just trying to find something.
I love in the corner. Look at Josh Cohen doing.
Hey, thanks, Amy, for that.
Sorry.
Um,
I think I'm the only one that saw it. I don't know. I sent it to Nick. And I
Oh
was
my
like,
god, it was okay.
what?
Right.
But like in the clip, you can like Nick was looking at him because Nick tried to like stop himself from laughing.
So much happened during that live.
there's plenty of times.
I
to
didn't
go-
even see it when we were on.
I just want to say that I'm envious that he has professional lighting and I still don't. But
there was plenty of times for it to get ad hoc, like I could have talked about Mimi. I could have talked about him smoking a bowl or taking off. Like I could have done that, but what it would have turned into is a 1v1, right? On the character of the individuals, and what I want to talk about are the fundamentals of the business.
Which was really weird because I tried to set up that discussion at the beginning and he immediately made it about personal insults.
Of course, no, but I also said, Josh has an ability to turn anything ad hoc, and immediately right after you were like, this is what we're talking about, right? But I don't care so much about criticizing Josh Cohen, Yeah. But what I want to talk about is like what he's saying about the trading and the fundamentals of the business. And in terms of the trading, the technicals of this, like a ladder attack would be a bunch of red candles because someone would be slamming it into the close. What you have here is someone buying 100 shares at the last possible second in order to make the close higher and have everyone, when they check in the after hours and see their P&L, it's back up to 70 cents or it's back up to $1.
Well, and he said in one of his posts that the buybacks have begun. So I don't know.
Did he really say that?
Buybacks.
Yes.
There's no cash.
Right.
So.
And like that's and I think that was kind of your biggest issue was the safe 10x thing, right? And like fomenting the stock price, right? And now he's talking about buybacks and like he's
I mean
this stuff is not legal. And I don't know what the rules are for the OTC.
No, I mean, so that one, it's just hilarious. Can you see the other one?
Well, and then he goes, and then it 10x twice, and I'm like, that's not good, dude. Like
you can't.
You're literally proving the point. You put out that it's a safe 10x, and then you're like, but then it's 10x twice, and I'm like, because you said that.
Yeah,
like you're proving the point.
That's manipulation.
Yeah.
This is right in here. There's 6 securities crime.
And what confused me about it is his cover for it was, well, this was a post on LinkedIn that was meant for accredited investors for a private placement, which technically under securities law, you can be a little bit more looser with a private placement. But dude, bro, you posted on social media. Like
you can't.
Anyone can get to see that.
Everyone's
So you
accredited that's on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Right.
What's the basis of that? That's ridiculous.
And then he said he didn't need the money for the investment, so he told all those people to go away. So it's like,
by the way,
which lane are we operating in at this point?
This was also on Facebook. So it wasn't just on LinkedIn. It was copy and pasted, whichever one was first, also on Facebook.
Gotcha.
Yes. So in nowhere here is it talking about the risk. It literally says, we are raising $1.5 million of solicitation right now, and we have a lot of interest. If you are actually interested in investing directly into one of the fastest growing independent operators in the Permian Basin and are seeking a 10x, feel free to give us a call. But actually, it's the one before. Where does he say? The second paragraph. However, we figured out a way to provide that safely through starting out each IPO as a penny stock. So he's saying, 10x return there too. So he's saying in the same paragraph that investors are seeking a 10x, and we've found a way to provide that safely.
I mean, it's manipulating. I mean, it is. It's stock pumping. Like he's pumping the stock, and then for him to say, and then it 10x, it's like, well, yeah, like
I mean,
you told people that
fraud is bullish. Like, what do you want to say? Fraud is bullish. You know, if you see a fraud nice and early, buy that. You know, like,
So I wanted to briefly get to this just to get running with Bears back on. So we had also a discussion during that live stream about the going concern and how he put it in there. He said conservatively because there's no actual going concern, but I wanted to put it in there.
Well, he said it was required for everyone.
Yeah.
Which is not true.
We need to have this discussion because it happens a lot with these meme stocks that going concern notices are just boilerplate. You just put them in there just, because you should or whatever.
No.
Could you elaborate on that for a bit there, Running Bears?
Yeah, like it's never boilerplate. And like this happened with the Bed Bath crowd. And I did a whole post on the mechanics of to get to the point to put a going concern disclosure in. And you got to jump a lot of hurdles. Basically, you got to say a going concern means a company is going to exist in perpetuity, right? Because if I'm going to post things into future periods, the company has to exist in future periods, right? So it's assumed you will be in business. When you do not have the liquidity or operations to continue that on, then you have to put these statements in, and the rules are pretty tight around that, right? Like it's a high bar because the auditors are going to come back to management and say like you're not going to be in business, and it's a big deal to put these things in on most publicly traded companies, right?
Tony. I'm sorry. Yeah, Tony, that did happen. That he not every company filing, but like that he was putting it in conservatively. It didn't need to be in there, but he was putting it in there because he was being conservative. But it totally not a going concern problem. Not at all.
So like an example of what would be a going concern is if Oracle, having spent all this massive CapEx in anticipation of satisfying ChatGPT's massive demand, if ChatGPT went out of business tomorrow, then the next
suddenly,
well, also if they had actually spent all that money, like it would take like significant leveraging towards ChatGPT, where right now, it probably wouldn't even be a going concern. But what everyone is buying credit default swaps or trading credit default swaps on Oracle, they don't have a going concern. If they did, like the idea is that it's bearish because they might. And then the question when you have it is, are you going bankrupt?
Well, isn't the going concern risk when there's a high, like a 75-ish% chance that they will go out of business in the next 12 months?
Yeah, most accountants are going to want to hit because accountants, when you say probable, likely than not, that's more likely than not. I think I generally call it 50%. When I say probable, I'm more like 70-75%, and virtually certain, I'm like 90. Like for me to want to peg a going concern, I gotta put it like 70-75% because it's just such a big deal. And it's to Nick's point, it's got to be such that you've got 3 months of cash. Let's say you got $500K on hand, but you're burning.
This guy just got to the top of the summit. He just got to the top of the building.
Nice.
Sorry, it's amazing. I mean, look at him.
Wow,
crazy.
I mean, that's insane. Like, what was it? Was that under 2 hours?
Hashtag skyscraper live. Okay. Anyways.
Sorry.
Risk.
I'm sorry, Running with Bears, but I'm just like,
that's fine.
Insane. This is insane. Go ahead.
So in Bed Bath's case, it was like they didn't have a lot of cash. They were burning it heavily. They're already super leveraged. They couldn't go out and borrow more. The stock they weren't really in a position to dilute more to raise that much more capital, so they stopped it in there, right? But it's just that's what's interesting about these meme stocks. I've had to say that's more than I would ever imagine I have to say. Like going concern is never boilerplate, right? Disclosures are meant to help investors. You don't just pump everything in here because this is not a law thing. This is like a disclosure, right? So when you hear someone say boilerplate, cringe a little bit.
Yeah, and especially when I think we discussed it the first time you were on, where it was all over the shop. Like they have a liquidity need, so they may issue shares, but they don't actually have a liquidity need. But also, we're going to reach our financial targets, so don't worry about it too much.
Yeah, that's it's the strangest, series of ideas, you know, in a section about potential bankruptcy to say that we don't need money. We don't need, and then he made a new one and he's like saying like what he's going to say now. We don't need money, but we could need money. We don't need money though. It's like, what?
Yeah, wasn't he trying to say that they don't need funds, but he intends to seek them anyways?
Yeah, that's
much?
a weird, and like that's
isn't
that a? I mean, running affairs, isn't that a weird going concern, like
like
paragraph
the last
in and of
paragraph there?
itself? Yeah, like to be like,
or the second to last, sorry, where it says they don't require additional funds.
Right, but then they intend to seek additional capital from new equity securities offerings. So that's dilution, debt financing, and debt restructuring to provide funds needed to increase liquidity. Like the company does not need further outside capital and will still achieve its revenues targets with or without the use of outside capital. Like, is this not the weirdest going concern you've ever read, or?
Definitely the softest one I've ever read.
What?
Definitely the softest. Like because
it's like we have a going concern, but we don't really. So you guys don't worry, and we've got this kind of like, I don't know. It's all very strange to me.
So, yeah, I mean, I read it and I was like, yeah, maybe he's trying to cover it, but he's trying to soften it. Like but it's never boilerplate is the thing. So like I did kind of struggle with it myself because it's. I mean, you look at the balance sheet, and it does feel a little upside down to me, right? If you got 150K in cash, AP is 400, you do have a little bit of a long-term note. The inventory.
Wasn't there something with the? Because I wanted to, try and hit all the bases while Running with Bears is still here, but wasn't there something to do about the restricted cash that he had said that it was covering?
The surety bond.
Yeah.
I forget what.
And that was the other thing was the surety
I think
bond
that was
he's counting that as free cash flow. That can't be right.
Yeah, because I think
I don't think it's in there though.
Yeah, because when we were talking about the CapEx and the banana stand analogy, he was saying go up to the balance sheet, and then he was then talking about the restricted cash and how it matches out or something. Or no, the hole in the free cash flow statement or whatever.
So he was pointing to that because that would balance out his cash balance. But what makes absolutely no sense is that 250 grand was there before, right? And he started.
Yeah, it was there before, and then he showed it as an outlay on the prior statement. It was a 250K outlay, but then it was also included in the net number, right? So you can't you did 10 minus 5 equals 5, but then you said no, it equals 10. Just kidding. If you got, I think it was the prior.
He's just going to reset that like every. Do it every quarter that way, and just so it looks like he's, ending with a 250 grand larger cash amount. Like it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I mean, I could see doing it on the very first one, right? So if I got 500 on the very first cash flow statement, if I got 500K in cash, 250 goes to a bond, I'll do an outlay of 250. But then my ending cash is not going to include that bond because I excluded it, right? That's what I'm getting hung up. He excluded it, but then added it back. So if he would just remove it from the total, like it'd be fine. So I think it was just soft these days. Like I was like, I don't know, but I do like this CapEx through AP thing. I do struggle with it though, because it's the key word is vendor.
You struggled with it too.
Vendor. It's a vendor. Yeah.
Financing
it's non-cash.
Strictly. Well, the financing activity. So the cash flow statement, right? The operating activity is supposed to be your day-to-day stuff. Like you start with net income, and you're going to make adjustments for AP, accounts receivable, and then like non-cash operating things on your income statement, like depreciation. That are nobody cuts a check for depreciation, right? So you add it back on the operating activities. And when you go down to investing activities.
Sorry, but even this, like, go back up a little bit, Nosy. So net changes in current assets and liabilities. So accounts receivable is negative 63,000. He doesn't list the surety bond here. Are these are just the changes in these things right here?
Right, because you would take out accounts receivable because you don't have that yet. It's money that you not.
Right.
So payable are 93,000. His inventory is 139,000.
And the inventory, so yeah, because what you're doing, is a positive value on here means cash didn't go out the door, right? Because what you're trying to do is you're trying to say, if I had a net income of $100, and I had a cash of 200, I need to walk the change in the income to the change in that's called indirect method that you did touch on. You look right. I mean, that is the standard method of doing this, right? So that's where it gets weird when you do the operating section, because it is inherently tricky. Like when you see a positive number, it's because cash actually didn't change hands, right? But it's in the so it's weird, right? Like
right, which
for
is
the
why you had
inventory,
another problem with this inventory, because that also kind of inflates the cash flow. I think you were mentioning too.
yeah, because typically like when you get inventory, right, you're gonna put it on AP because they're gonna ship you the stuff. You're gonna pay net 30s. So inventory will initially be positive values they didn't pay for, but then I'm gonna show a negative value and actually do pay cash or pay my vendor off, right? So this says that he got it but didn't have to pay for, which is fairly standard. And the if the accounts receivable is negative, that means he collected, right? If it's a positive value, that means he collected more than he invoiced, meaning like he collected $100 of cash, but actually only invoiced like 60, right? So the 40 differences from old invoices, right, that were already included in net income. So this statement gets tricky. It's probably we could do like a whole section just on this, but my main thing was like the financing activities, that is strictly debt and loans, right? Like that's lenders, not like vendors type stuff. And is that way for a reason? Because like you want to know, now an ideal cash flow statement is people are like the free cash flow positive, which means that when I take the operating cash section and subtract the investing activities, that I'm generating cash. Because what you want to do is you want to generate positive cash from your day-to-day stuff, say like $500,000, and then I want to take part of that cash and buy investing activities like PP&E, let's say like 200,000, so that I can then turn around and generate $1 million in cash, right? So my operating cash is feeding my capex needs, right? And if that's not the case, and you come down to the financing activity and you finance it with either long-term debt or equity, right? So when I see like AP down here, I just feel like it kind of pollutes it a little bit, right? So yeah, it's kind of went off the deep end on you.
Yeah, I mean, and then my question, when you're valuing a company, you want to figure out like, if it's a growth company, which Josh Cohen says AZRH is a growth company, you want to figure out like, of this capex, how much is needed to sustain the business that they got, and then how much is needed to achieve growth. I'll give them growth capex because that gets new business,
Yeah,
But
in between all the yelling last week, I did appreciate where you're trying to go with this. So if I step out of the auditor role and more of a CFO role, it's like if I'm going to try to grow this company to 100 million, I can only spend so much of my cash on total capex, right? Maybe it's 10%, right? And so operations people are going to tell me, well, I can get you 300 million, but it's going to take 30 million in capex. I know that of my current, say, 10 million capex, I've got like HVAC to replace, I've got roofing to replace, which that is maintenance capex, because yes, like maintenance stuff does generally get expense. However, if it extends the life, like a roof, that does get capitalized and it does eat into my capex budget. So I thought you're making a fair point in saying like, okay, of this, say my imaginary $10 million budget, I got to take 2 million to put a new roof on. I got to put 3 million to put HVAC on, and that 5 million of stuff gets parked on my balance sheet. So then if my operation people are telling me I can get you to 300 million in revenue, but I need 25 million, then now we're talking maintenance versus growth capex, which is a more complex topic, right? As you get like more into like finance stuff. But I thought it's a very valid point, maintenance versus growth capex. That is very much a thing in all the companies I work with.
Right, because what I'm trying to figure out is like how much capex is it going to take to achieve his, 1,000 barrels per day, right? Like how much money do you need? Because there's no money here, and then obviously the next question would be, where's this money coming from? And he couldn't seem to answer that, right? So,
right, which is valid.
And part of that is like, okay,
how much is he currently producing?
He says 180 to 200. If you look on any,
a day.
Yeah, if you look anywhere that anyone's pulled up, it's nowhere close. But
yeah,
give them the benefit of the doubt, right? Like, He can, this is my problem with it. He's gonna prove one thing that we're questioning and be like, see, they're wrong about everything. And my point is like, fine, give him the 200 barrels per day. Give him the $17,000 per jar. Like, give him all of the benefit.
Or like that comp that you were talking about when he was comparing wells. Like, give him the comp of the well. Why did you grossly overpay for the well?
Right. Give him the high end. Like there's two numbers. Give him the high number. And it's not even close. Like, it's not even close. If like on mental math, you don't need a model for that.
Yeah, this stuff gets hard, right? But to your point on like the CapEx stuff, it's a valid question because like at least the last budget cycle I did, it's like $100 million company, and there was only like I can only put say like $5 million back into CapEx, right? And I know there's $3 million left. There's $3 million I gotta spend, so then you're left with the operation arguing, okay, if you're trying to grow this thing, how are you going to grow it on effectively $2 million? Like, you start diving into all that. So it's a good conversation to have, though.
You just got to have someone who's willing to have that conversation.
Yeah, it's not Josh Cohen.
And that gets down to kind of a management thing, and I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen CEOs, and I think what Josh does is he watches a lot of television, and the GameStop documentary, and is on Twitter, and he thinks he like has like clippets of what people have said before, and he thinks resonates.
Yeah,
we've seen CEOs like Alex Karp go after shorts, right? It's not this new thing.
Or Elon Musk, or
right. Some of it has been the penny stacks that you guys have seen crumble, and some of it has been some of the most famous companies in the world. But it's way different when there's just no rationale to literally any part of his business that gives a positive value. Like, I've never seen anything that's so easy to break apart and describe as worthless about a business.
Isn't it only like 500 shares like sold short or something? Like the short interest is negligible.
1,000, yeah, short interest.
1,000 shares. Well, and the crazy part about Elon or even Alex Karp bitching about the short sellers is like, Tesla and even Palantir, right? They're just like in Carvana, for example, like they're in this like perpetual short squeeze because everybody is so desperate to short them, and like shorts just keep getting blown up. Like if everybody stopped shorting these companies, they would probably go down. But it's because people keep trying to short them that they perpetually go up, right? Like Tesla, and like the Tesla out of the money call buying thing that's been going on for years. Like that's why it's funny to me that they bitch about it, because that's why their stocks are up.
Right. Yep. Right. No, I agree with that 100%. Like, short sellers, as long as they're not lying, as long as they're not releasing through CNBC in the morning a fake report like they do on Apple every single year about how they're missing their sales targets,
right?
Then it's a market, like it's a functional component of the market.
Yeah.
Because if Josh Cohen had short sellers in his stock, it would be stabilized now that it's down 75-80%, because they would be covering.
They would be covering, and you would see that. You can literally see that especially on something with that low volume, and like it's crazy that he even thinks like shorts.
You might even see the price tick up and levitate upwards because
it will when they cover. Yeah. You'll see them. You'll see it. You'll see the candle wake up. But shorts don't want low volume stock. They don't trade in those stocks, right? Like they don't.
Their brokers don't want them to trade in those stocks either. Just ask Fidelity.
Well, and they don't.
I wish I could short that. They won't let me get in because they have a fiduciary
movement. There's no you can look in the chain and see like if it's call heavy or put heavy, and there's all kinds of like things that go on when you go to short a company, and it's not a OTC low volume shit co. Like he talks about how Nick and all these people of the conspiracy to harm the shareholders. And like, here's the message for Josh Cohen. Like, the only person who has harmed your stock is you. The way he has behaved, like the front he has put on, like, I think is very unattractive for most short sellers.
Right. For
most investors. Like, if I was holding this stock and I saw a CEO acting like that, I would be gone.
Well, I mean, especially
I won't buy Palantir because of the way that Alex Karp behaves.
Well, also it's trading at hundreds of times, like 100 times sales.
There's more technical reasons why I won't buy Palantir. Right. But I'm just saying that these things are not attractive to investors, and the way that he acted, the videos he's dropped, the way he acts on here, like that would make any investor nervous.
Well,
in my opinion,
from him yapping on Twitter, it's only gone down.
He's yapping right now.
No. I'm saying ever since he started yapping, it's been straight down.
Yeah.
Like the 3-month chart tracks when he started yapping about the company, not anyone else.
Right.
It was him, because he's the one who got anyone interested in even looking at it in the first place.
Well, and when a stock 10x, especially something like AZRH, like, people sell. Like, that's the thing that like a lot of these baggies don't get about, like, when a stock runs like that. Like, I was actually talking to Nick because I had bought a stock that, and in like overnight, 24 hours, it went up like, what was it, Nick? Like 18%. And I was like, going up 18% in 24 hours is making me want to sell it. Like that alone, right? Like, people have all kinds of reasons to sell. And it's, like I said, the only person who's harmed his stock is him.
Well, yeah, especially when you're.
And if he continues to try to play Michael, and
people making Epstein conspiracy theories.
Right. Like the most racist and anti-Semitic person on Twitter. That's who you're retweeting. Like, it's his own fault.
Well, yeah.
The difference between Alex Karp going after short sellers is, it's not like you have, short sellers questioning the balance sheet and questioning the cash flow statement on a, basis of like, is this right? Like, it's a question of what is the market opportunity? What is the growth going to be? And then he'll say they're just dumb. And he has said some things about how they lie or whatever. It's different when people are like genuinely trying to figure out the value of your assets, and you're saying that they're frauds and hacks and somehow all in a conspiracy against you, when it's like, dude, Van Dyke, the first time I saw him was on your balance sheet. On your financial statement, because he's suing you. Like, you think I went to college with this guy or something? Like,
yeah.
Well, and that's what I said to him. I was like, he's saying Van Dyke started this whole thing and with people on X and da 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 da. And I'm like, who the hell is Jason Van Dyke? Like, I found you because your crazy ass video showed up in my timeline. That's how I found Josh Cohen, is himself. In his crazy video, it popped up on my timeline, and I was like,
sure 90% of people on X, that's how they found him.
Yeah. And I'm sure his investors are probably like, oh God, I wouldn't want to be in that stock.
Just briefly, because I know running with bears, I don't think you have much more time.
Yeah, I probably gotta go in a minute.
So if I could just get you briefly, speaking of people and how they found this shit go before you head out the door, and we might come back and talk more about AZRH. We'll see. But MMTLP, I know we talked about this a couple episodes back, but you weren't here for this. Did you get a chance to glance over these financials, or do I need to kind of run over them with you?
No, I ran out of time. What do we got? We got 2.1 of assets against what? How much liabilities we got?
62 million. Yeah.
What?
We're doing great. We're doing really, really well.
Nick, you're here for us, our session where we regularly torture running with bears with shame companies.
Yes.
Well, this is, it's not too far off from Cohen, but at least as far as what they say they're doing, but
I guess equity is hugely negative too. Just for good measure, just throw that in there while we're at it.
All they did was drill one well and then determine that it was a dry hole, I think. And
there it is, 60 million. That's solid. Oh, that's
Let's see here. So this is their okay. So
good.
this is their
Yeah,
entire income.
this isn't even in
But
thousands,
isn't
right?
all of that like
No, this is
all
not
that
even in
debt?
thousands. This
It's
is in
just-
dollars.
Okay, but isn't that all that debt and all that liability? Isn't that just like to McCabe himself?
Mostly,
Yes.
except for the 6 million from the last time that was, his
And they added
son.
another $5 million in debt after this statement from McCabe. So there you go.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't add. They just didn't. They just
He
extend the credit line.
They extended the credit line and then added an
from
extra
him,
5
from
million.
himself.
Yeah.
So 25
That's some
million.
big
And
negatives.
the cash flow statement.
Yeah, start with a $9 million loss, as is.
Yeah, Nick,
tradition.
talk about a zero. This one is
Yeah, this is
less
beyond
than
$5 million.
zero.
negative
$5
zero.
million
It is.
impairment. Spent $5 million on capex. This is really nice. I really appreciate you.
This is a really great one.
The one last torture. This is the new company that is suing Virtu for naked short conspiracies. So this
is AABB.
This is AABB. Mhm.
Okay, so this is another OTC.
I told Kyle and Nick to look at Jagex. Have you guys seen all the Chico slingers pumping Jagex?
Mm-mm.
Oh, we should look at that.
And I like looking at this. That like their entire balance sheet is just they've got assets just kind of setting, and I guess it's some sort of mining operation.
Oh, you don't
because-
know about AABB?
No, I've never heard
Isn't it
about
like
it.
a Chinese? Isn't it like a Chinese mining?
Yeah, but they had like all these people on social media that were doing like videos with boats and hoes and trying to sell their stock. They invited a
doesn't
bunch
love boats
of
and hoes?
shareholders to go to the mine, I guess, and like visit the new, whatever. And that was like a whole video. There's a lot of stuff going
Is
on.
it a gold? It's gold mining, right?
Yeah, I think so.
And this is cash flow statement.
They had like this crazy debt going on for a long time where they like took over debt and then increased the amount, and they were just kind of milking that forever, like paying them out in billions of shares for the longest
Yeah,
time
because
until recently.
the change in shares as a number of the float between end of year 2024 and this one, which is end of year 2025, was 1 billion shares. 1 billion shares.
Yeah, that was almost all to the people that they owed money to.
So we'll get back to them when we get to the meme stock section to go over their lawsuit against Virtu. But
yeah, and I appreciate having me on. I do think like on Josh's stuff, if they can get visibility in inventory, if the ARO number and the offsetting assets can get tightened up, if you can get a firm to review this stuff and get it audited and get the more disclosures, like, I've worked with CEOs, like I do like the fractional CFO thing, and I think CEO like on the rails, man, kind of pull the room like, hey, just people take shots. The jobs are hard to get, and people are gunning for you, right? So maybe just chill, just.
Yeah, my question for you.
It doesn't help.
My question for you before you go, with this amount of perceived errors and on like the disclosures that would need to come to clean this up, how much do you think it would cost to have any reputable auditor come in and fix this? Above?
I don't think
below? What?
I don't think it'd be bad. Because what I would do if it's my company, I would bring in some third-party evaluation on the ARO side to build that table out, right? That's the interest rate, the expense, the timing, and the years. I'd bring in a third party on the asset side. I'd bring in someone on the inventory to count the stuff and truly serialize it, make it proper. And the books themselves, you could probably do it in QuickBooks. They're so basic. I don't think it'd be that much money.
But all of those third party, all of that stuff costs money, and he has 20 grand. He says he's going to put more money up, but he hasn't committed to his own capital towards, he just like that. That's his answer.
Well, I mean, at first it was that him and some other guy went halvesies, and now it's like he put up 650,000 of his own money, and then he said last week that he's going to put up more. When you were like, "So are you?" You were Platinum was like, "So wait, are you saying that you're going to invest your own money?" And he was
That
like,
was
"Well,
me.
no."
Yeah, because my husband asked me about that the next day. He's like, "What were you talking about?"
No, I
Oh
don't
my
think it would be terribly expensive, right? But it's you got to at this point. I think you got to spend the money, right? You
He
gotta
could just
find a
pay in
way to-
shares.
Well, he said that they're in the they're doing the audit now, right? Or Michael did
Yeah, that they're trying to
Supposedly.
get uplisted by the end of the year.
by
He's
December.
been saying that for months.
Right.
Audit coming soon.
Love it. I'm curious. I'm genuinely curious now. But all right, I enjoyed y'all.
Thanks for running with
Anything
beers.
else that you wanted to finish out with, Nick, or
No, I appreciate it.
no problem?
Yeah, guys, it's just
Oh,
funny
cool.
because the last time you remember, as soon as I came into the because I don't know if people know, like there's a behind the scenes waiting room for this.
Yes.
And
Yeah, I missed that.
Oh my god,
Because I was like 20 minutes late.
it
So,
was
You missed
but
that.
as soon as I came in, it was
insane.
like, "Ee." I was like, "Oh my!"
It was worse backstage.
As soon as I came in the waiting room, Josh is like, like he's gilled up, on the Peruvian marching powder. He's asking me if I'm on drugs. And I'm
Oh my
like,
God.
wait until the camera starts, buddy. And I kind of
Because immediately as he came in the room, it was a fighting session. Like, guys, we haven't even started yet.
When your face was red and you were like, Josh, I was in the sun today. I don't know. You're playing golf or something. I don't know. You're doing something. And you were like, Josh, I was in the sun today.
yeah,
And this guy's
yeah.
like screaming. And we're like, oh my God.
I have to say the cortisol definitely spiked immediately. And I was just like, okay, like, let's just wait until the camera starts. And then he like comes in and he's like, I love you guys. Like, you got, how much I respect you, right? And then, I was like just waiting and I was like, okay, like,
he's like, I want to apologize for the back and forth we had online. And then I was like,
which is exactly what he did the first time he came on with me and Amy.
Yeah.
And then it took him about 2 minutes because Pollard just
volatile.
That was funny. That's what,
I mean, that really was the best opening from Pollard.
Right. That
like,
kicked it
called
off.
me a child rapist, so here I am.
And coming to this waiting room, and you guys are just like chilling, like watching, Netflix climbers.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
know.
That's how it normally is. Yeah.
That's how it usually is.
That's how it is every night. We just kind of bullshit, and then the show starts. It's real chill.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for having me on. We'll see how the next statements come out, and if I can get a Polymarket up or someone else.
Sounds great.
Yeah, do it.
Let me know. I'll buy it.
See you later.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Oh God, which one are we going to talk about now?
Well, first of all, we've got some breaking news that I'm going to have to break here real quick.
Oh God.
Is it what you were just putting in the chat? Because that's ridiculous.
Yep.
Nobody's paying that. Who's paying that?
Amy, you're so much louder than Corax.
I am.
I don't know why.
Adjust the
Yeah.
audio.
Let me turn
That's
my
because I
volume
turned down the gain when I was recording on. See if that helps. Turned up the gain a little bit. Yeah, so we had some breaking news that was given to us by Goldbee, and my goodness gracious! So we have Scam Investor here saying, yes, we probably will be opening we. Who's this fucking we? It's just you in a shitty ass apartment in San Fran. Anyway, we will be opening the BAM Trader Discord server, invite only. DM me if you would like to join. Serious traders only, please.
Serious traders only, please.
6K views.
Hilarious.
Well, this was back on the 20th.
Yeah, I feel like I heard about this already. And
did you hear how much it's charging?
Well, listen, you could get some really good short ideas. That's the thing.
$500 per month.
I'm not
He
spending
never
$500 just to get short ideas. I can get them
400
for
if
free.
Well,
veteran
also
or-
long ideas. Remember,
Okay.
he said to short vert, and then
Yeah, I mean, like if you want to pay $500 a month just to do the opposite of what he tells you, then you
No.
can go ahead
No,
You'll
and
make
do
money.
that.
This is like an order of magnitude above what he charges already for his shitty fucking algorithm.
why? How much does he charge for that?
Like $50 a month to 100.
Oh my god,
It's awful.
And people pay that. Like
Awful.
crazy.
I need to start my own fucking hustle. Clearly.
But I mean, the reviews on it are absolutely terrible. And like, let me just put out this PSA. If you follow him or you use that Leonard Nimoy thing he has, like, please post your P&L.
Your P&L, please.
Absolutely.
Post bags.
And tag me in it. Tag me in it and post your P&L, please.
Post bags.
Mhm.
So anyway, back to our regularly scheduled programming. I brought up AABB because they are now apparently suing Virtu Financial in the Southern District of California.
Well, can we just let them all know that Doug Sifu is retired and
I know, because like they act like he's still there. They need their villain. I'm not going through this whole 39-page complaint, but we'll skip ahead to what they're charging with because it is a fucking riot for a company that issued what, 1 billion shares last year.
do these attorneys like, and I mean obviously the baggies don't, but like they really don't understand what market makers do, right?
Probably not, and they are expecting that the judge doesn't either.
It's crazy.
So count 1, violation of Rule 10b-5 against all defendants. Wait, there's multiple defendants? I thought it was just...
Yeah, there was Jane Doe 1 through 20.
Oh, yeah, your standard Jane Doe fucking bullshit, 1 through 50, and
G1 execution service, Doe's 1 through 50 inclusive, and Doe, yeah, like there's...
Okay.
1 through 50.
Whatever, another one of these fucking John Doe lawsuits. Anyway, where were we? I should have kept track of what page I was on with all this. Oh yeah, here we are. Count 1, against all defendants for 10b-5. Under federal securities regulations, defendants have a duty as market gatekeepers to monitor and order flow. Like, okay. And what? Violation of Section 9A2. Yeah, that's pretty standard.
Which is what? I didn't see it. It went too fast.
A series of transactions of security creating an actual or apparent activity of trading a security or raising or depressing the price of security. The transactions were carried out with sinister. The purpose of the transaction was to induce the purchaser into the sale of securities by others. The plaintiff relied on this transaction. The transaction affected the plaintiff's purchase or selling price.
Sure.
Cool story, bro. What was the other one here? Count 3, violations of 9E. Yeah. 9E of the Securities Exchange Act. And then, market manipulation through spoofing and bid layering. Of course.
Of course.
Of course.
Wes Christian may not be in this suit, but he's all over it. This reeks of him.
Issued, oh man, so most of the shares came in 2016 where they issued like 3 billion shares. Nice find there, Platinum. Jesus.
Oh yeah, that was the like fake company thing. Wait, are you talking about
what you sent in Discord?
Okay, yeah. Because I'm trying to find I'm looking for like through my bookmarks and stuff for I really want to find that video because it's so funny with the boats.
And then let me see here. Count 5, market manipulation through wash trading. Not like, again, I don't think you understand how market making works. And market manipulation through naked short selling. Like, do they even have standing for that one? Because technically, so long as they follow the rules, like market makers can't.
Oh, found it.
Like to create a locate and sell and then come back and.
That's right. They have 30 days.
Market manipulation through quote stuffing and what even the fuck is that? Are we just making shit up now? I've never heard of this before.
Quote stuffing. No,
micro stuffing.
Again, like this is market making. They
Found it.
they buy stock at different prices, so they are required by law to sit on the bid and the ask, and they put up how many they're willing to sell and at what price.
Hey, let me tell you something. ABB is bigger than anyone can imagine.
Oh, I already found the red herring, like the red flag here. Other than this video is a red flag.
Golden baboons.
They have NFTs too, yeah.
Yeah, because it does show that they have digital securities.
Okay, but yeah, you get the point.
Yeah, you get the point that this is meant
That's
for
the bows and the hose.
What is it with these penny stock shitcos and marketing to FinCells?
I mean, it works.
Every time.
Violations of Nevada securities law. Oh, they're incorporated in Nevada. How cute, guys! What's the first sign that you're dealing with a scummy shitco fraud? They're incorporated in Nevada. Oh my God! Make it stop. Prayer for relief. Yeah, sure, whatever. I love when we find the new memes stocks, the new shit codes that everyone's going to be crying about for the next however long.
They have spaces every Friday. AABB, just so you know.
Oh, we need to get to recording those.
I won't be attending that.
They're actually
No thanks.
like surprisingly nice.
Chill. Okay.
Yeah, it's weird. Like I kind of like I listened for a couple weeks.
Because I remember you mentioning that you've gone to some of these baggy spaces for these other,
of course. Absolutely.
and they're just like, yeah, they're pretty chill actually, and they just like,
yeah, they were, and so it kind of made me feel even worse for them, right? Because they were like pretty polite. So I was like, damn, that sucks. Like if they're losing money or whatever, that's too bad.
You should volunteer to do a live stream for them of the China hustle. They know what they're
no, that's okay. I'll just let them be in their own environment.
You guys are fine.
Yeah, I don't need another.
We just observe the gorillas in the mist.
All right.
We don't get in there and try to save them.
Back to some oldies but goodies. Tony Nero alerted me to a certain press release by one of our favorite shitco scams that I read this and I felt like I lost IQ points. Resolution of the 68% discrepancy of GNS shares reportedly held by brokers, according to the DTCC. Okay, do you want to know how they get to the number of this alleged discrepancy?
Okay, I have a question. How are they verifying these shares anyways? Because it seems like the DTCC, I mean, has it on lock here. Like they understand how many shares there are, but however, Scamilton is trying to verify shares is not working out.
Right, because he's trying to bribe people with Bitcoin to DRS their shares.
Well, what are they doing because if they DRS, then it wouldn't be on the DTCC's numbers. So do you know what they're doing to try to verify these shares in the first
That's a great question.
Well, if they DRS them, won't they show up on the registry?
It's not DRSing because it's the DTCC that is giving the number. So that's just for the shares that are at the broker.
I guess so, because the DRS.
Oh, I thought you were asking how Hamilton is.
Well, are the shareholders? Because you see that he's trying to say that 17.4 million GNS shares verified to be owned by Genius Group investors via brokers. Like, so what is he doing to verify? You know what I mean? Like, what are these shareholders doing something? I think they are because
right. And how would he be able to verify? Because if 17 point, I think what he meant is the 17.4 million are the ones that are held DRS.
No.
Because if they were held by a broker, it would go back that yes, this broker
It is
has
held by.
these shares.
It says 17.4 verified to be owned by Genius investors via broker.
Via brokers at the time
Well,
of
then
this.
how the fuck do they know?
Exactly. So keep scrolling, right? Because I think he does say what they use. They use something.
Oh wait, hold on, go back up.
The
He
Bitcoin
said,
loyalty.
wait, hold on, go back up real quick. What did he say? 37 million shares are unaccounted for?
Right, because whatever they're using to verify sucks, clearly.
Is that not the ones that were issued to the Mo and Ritz?
No. Well, I mean, it's hard to tell because it could be because those haven't been removed from the float yet. I don't know, fucking the way I thought when I read this was that okay, they have their because they're talking about the DRS program here and they're talking about the amount that had been DRS'd and the participation went up by some stupid ass percentage number because big number, and so the gap difference was the amount that they had DRS.
Nope, keep going because I don't think they're even talking about it being DRS. Watch, keep going. Keep going.
Yeah, the Bitcoin.
I thought when they were doing this whole thing, they had to didn't they have to use some other website and
keep going.
Thing, right?
Right, but
yep,
that's going. What's going on here. So it went from 2.3 to 19 million, and that's where they're getting the discrepancy of how.
All right, keep going. Hold on. There was some program that they used. Watch. Blah, blah, blah. Watch, keep going. Hold on.
Program. That's about.
No, this is you went too far because now it's talking about the abouts. Hold on, wait. Details of 726% increase in the Bitcoin loyalty program.
If you believe you're one of these investors, complete the verification process. No, wait, no, back up.
Up a little bit.
Okay, stop. By emailing investor@geniusgroup.ai with your details.
So they're basically taking a survey. That's their proven.
So the company's verification process
is you emailing them and telling them because they can't get the information from the brokers.
Right. So he's trying to make it seem like
this is materially misleading.
Right. Not only that, I mean, like everything else that he files, right? But if, they were so naked shorted or whatever, like he's trying to say, you would think there would actually be way more as a discrepancy, right? Like,
well, that's what Tony was saying.
Verifying.
Right.
Exactly.
So,
and that's not what happened. It was way, way, way less.
So their way that they're verifying, because they can't go to the broker and be like, okay, give me all your all the accounts.
Of course they can. That's what Broadridge does. That's how they would get like a vote out and stuff. Like that's literally what Broadridge does.
But like the company doing that, of course brokers would be like, fuck off. So, but they could have, like you said, gone to Broadridge, but that would give them a number that wouldn't allow them to confirm their conspiracy theories. So they're going to investors, and when investors, being the retail investors they are, and not responding to some fucking press release telling them to email it to some schmucky, scammy fucking CEO who doesn't even live in the United States, operating a company that doesn't even operate in the United States, is like, yeah, fuck off. And then he gets to play this game of, well, it's all fraud because only these many people, like, fuck off. Where is the SEC on this shit? This is such absolute scammy shitco bullshit. I'm sorry. This is the Trump administration. The SEC's out to fucking lunch. What was I? I mean, fucking, like, it's golden age of fraud, like, for the next 4 years. Fuck me. Anyway.
We're only in year one.
I know. It's 3 more years of this fucking nonsense. I can't fucking even. Cannot fucking even, guys. So we have an update in the Genius Group lawsuit. I'm not going to go over the whole thing, as we went over it in an extra, I believe it was Tuesday when this dropped. But we got a response from the defendants as to Shitcode GNS's fucking lawsuit. That's a little too big. And yeah, the score was pretty clear here. They pretty much ripped them a new asshole about how could you possibly file this, because there's no way that the issuer can be similarly situated as its shareholders. Also, them issuing shares, wouldn't that pretty much affect shareholders because it'd be dilutive to them? So they're not similarly situated than regular shareholders. Let me see if I can
Basically saying, how can you blame us for the stock price going down when you have issued shares? And
well, not only that, they sold
the
shares for less than
LZT
market
saying
price.
right.
Constantly.
And then of course they said that they were conflicted because in the LZG case, their RICO case, it benefits them to basically say, look, Mo and Ritz, the reason our stock price tanked was because of their fraud and us having to issue shares and a whole bunch of other things. Whereas in this case, it benefits them the most to say, look here, Citadel and Virtu are the ones that did the most damage, but those two statements can't be the same at the same time. Also, it benefits them more to say that in the RICO case because they can get treble damages there. So there was that.
Well, and also you need to have, the fair market or whatever theory, and they're saying that it's, manipulated this whole time.
Then yeah, because they started like clear back in November trying to pull all this stuff together.
Right, because they're also trying to say they waited way too long. A lot of their
claims are time barred.
Right.
It's just so fucking funny.
And then they also the lead plaintiff thing, and then
unique defenses because of all of the different things that we just described. Statute of limitations, which we also described. Unique reliance, stock was being manipulated. Yeah, that one we just mentioned. Then misconduct cast further doubt on its ability to serve as lead plaintiff.
The material misinformation or whatever that.
Oh yeah, because of and then there was also the California University thing.
Right, that got shut down after they were paying them in shares. Did you know that?
And then
in shares. Oh my god.
And then supposedly was withholding grant money and lying to the Department of Education.
Yeah, not good. Not good at all.
Yikes. Oh, and then also, the typicality requirement. They're not similarly situated, and the claims aren't typical of everyone. And then proposed lead counsel is inadequate.
Oh, yeah. And then they bring up sanctions.
Yeah, because he got sanctioned in this circuit, and then there's the pending sanctions. The one in the Malone one, which I'm surprised that hasn't been brought up, because they said we're going to put it on hold until the motion to dismiss is over with. And then they just never brought it back up again. It was kind of weird. And then, of course, there's this one, which I had not known about. And I went over on that live stream, which was funny as shit. So, Platinum, were you following along when I went over this?
I don't think I know this one. What happened?
No, but I did buy the PDF from Court Listener, so you're welcome.
I bought the actual transcript of the hearing because I wanted to know the deets, because it was one of the rare occasions where
Amy's gone. She gone.
And now she's back. There we go.
Oh, she's back.
This was one of the rare occasions.
This might be weather related. I'm not sure.
This was one of the rare occasions where, like, the hearing was in October, and I came back later and found it, and I was like, oh, well, we're getting the transcript for sure. And so I was listening to it. So what happened is Dude Bro, who was the plaintiff here, was suing the Walt Disney Corporation over some sort of copyright infringement. It turned out that he filed these claims knowing that they were time barred from statute of limitations, and he forged certain documents involved with it. And the question now is, because a lawyer, when you take a case as a lawyer, you're supposed to do your own due diligence. Like, what is the value of these claims? Can we actually do something? It can't just be, well, my client said this, so I'm just going to roll with it. You have to actually, that's part of being a lawyer. And so the reason why we have sanctions hearing is they knew all of this, potentially. How much did the lawyers investigate into these claims being, not worth anything when they brought them and wasting the court's time? And how much did they know that their client was forging documents? And Wes has a hand into this because he was helping with discovery and also was doing Amy's favorite thing. He was the one funding the litigation through, what's it called?
Third-party funders.
Yep. That was his responsibility on this case. So he had a lawyer representing him during that hearing and everything. And from what, usually even when you're reading a transcript, you can kind of get a feel for where a judge is going. And he had submitted an affidavit, which I also bought, and it's on there too, and you can look at it. I didn't get the chance to fully read that, and I'll probably have to go back and read it at some point. But when his lawyer was presenting in front of the judge had no questions. So I get the feeling that Wes might be okay on these, but it's really hard to tell. And we haven't gotten an order back on the sanctions, and Dude Bro's trying to appeal after losing the jury trial.
Wait, he lost?
Yeah, like the plaintiff lost, Disney won.
Oh, okay.
At trial.
Gotcha.
So it's a mess. I didn't even know this until I went live and I found this, and then I learned about this whole situation because the chat was informing me about what it was about. And I was just like, this is not something you wanted, and it's going to get dug up every single time. And regardless of if Wes is actually given new sanctions from this or whatever, it just doesn't look good. You were
why
part
are
of
they
the
sanctioning
team.
him? Or what's the reason for sanctions?
So the reason for sanctions is because plaintiff filed frivolous claims that were time barred, and he knew they were time barred when he got the lawyers hired to file these claims. And on top of that, he was forging documents. There were supposedly these contracts that he signed with a representative from Disney, and the original contracts were different, and he couldn't get a hold of them, so he just forged the fucking signature on them and tried to present them as evidence.
And Wes is lead counsel on this?
No, he was not lead counsel. He was the guy that was getting the third-party funding together and also helped with filing some documents and may have been there for some of the hearings and was part of the discovery investigation. So he's part of the legal team, but he was not lead plaintiff.
So they're
not lead. He's not the lead attorney.
So they're all facing sanctions, or just Wes?
Just a handful of them that were involved on plaintiff's side. Yeah.
Got it.
So, yeah, it's a big mess. It's a big fucking mess. Let's see here. So we also had the Kevin Malone saga.
Oh my god!
From GNS
I love this.
No, Quantum.
Yeah, I went from GNS to Genius. It's no, that's the same company.
Well, because he was basically threatening them, right? Saying
right.
Yeah.
I'm going to do what's best for my clients. Shouldn't he be?
You should have done what was best for your clients a long time ago, sir.
And nope, I'm going to do it now as leverage.
Ian's I emailed you a week ago. What?
Check
what
your spam folder, dummy.
The CFO did. Yeah. On the 8th, right? And this was happening on the 21st, so longer than a week.
Yeah. And then let me see here because there was more to this. Then we got I'm sorry, apologies, I didn't see it in the email. And then there was the no worries, Kevin. Never doubted your intentions. Still feel your heart.
The best
is
the
right
last
place.
part.
Yeah, the last.
Blah 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 blah. Yeah.
Let me find the other one here. Sorry.
No, it's this one.
No,
keep going down.
Scroll down.
Yeah, just keep scrolling down.
No. It cuts off there. Trust me, I took the screen cap.
Okay. No, I sent you the whole thing. No, right there. Nope. Go down.
The stock did not.
The stock did not fall because you left. It was falling and kept falling anyways when you were still there. We could not keep you any longer as an advisor, even for free, because of reasons that you very well know.
Ooh.
I don't know, stock,
like
bear
he's under
traps
investigation
and trying to trick the algos and I don't know, stock market manipulation.
Yeah, but then
we got like this, like I'm flying to Canada right now.
I love top secret meeting that he posts on Twitter.
Yeah, top secret.
So secret.
So secret and didn't go anywhere, and we haven't heard anything about it yet.
Yeah.
He also hasn't updated his thing as far as like his.
My guess is he's not getting that board seat. If I had to just guess,
absolutely fucking not. No, he's not.
Yeah.
For reasons that he should.
He very well knows.
He very well knows. Probably that
they couldn't even keep him for free.
Oof.
Like when I'm hearing rumors from sources that even Trump's SEC has people chomping at the bit to go after Kevin Malone.
Really?
You might be in a bit of fucking trouble.
Yeah, that would be. I mean, I figured maybe FINRA because he's an investment advisor or whatever, like whatever. And he already said
at this point, I assume
market manipulation would go through the SEC.
Right, but he did say he was under investigation. I thought he said by FINRA before.
It was
that was by
regulators.
Yeah.
At this point, it's like at the DMV where they've got the take a number, go take your seat in line, and we'll let you know when Mr. Malone is ready for you.
And I almost think I'm like, is he trying to force himself on the board to absolve the what may be coming? I don't know, because he seems pretty hyper about it.
What do you mean?
Because it's like a diversionary thing. If he gets on the board and Quantum starts doing better and then the stock price goes up, he can it's like a diversionary thing.
That's not going to happen.
My investors my money back.
But hold on, prepare himself for what's going to happen. What do you mean by that? Like, what do you mean?
Well, like if they are really looking into him and like, I mean, I called him out. I called out the stock manipulation the moment it happened, right? So like, if they are looking at him, then like, if he's on the board, he can say, well, if I was manipulating the stock, why would they put me on the board or something like that?
Okay, see, because I kind of thought he was doing it as like an excuse for why he was going to sell shares or something, right? Like he could blame the board, like, oh, they don't want my help or whatever, and this is why. Like he's kind of trapped his clients at this point, and maybe he's like looking for a way out because they already said they were going to do an ATM, but they haven't even started it yet, apparently.
But I mean, part of his agreement was for them to be able to
have enough liquidity to do an ATM.
Do the ATM for the 7 million shares, right?
Well, but now he's not there anymore. I mean, they did. Right? They should have done it when it was $30. I don't know what the hell they waited for.
That's what he was hired like as an advisor for, is what I'm saying.
Right. And he got his shares. He got paid for the market cap. But now he's stuck. And so I feel like, he's trying to think of a way to kind of
get out from under the
and not blame himself, right? Like, oh, it's not my fault. I tried so hard. I was going to make the company better, but they don't want to hear it or whatever. When we all know, like he knows that it's not going to happen. Why make such a big stink about it, right? Like, why not check your email?
Yeah, I'm with rubbing my axe here. The best for his clients would be different for them to someone else, anyone else. Yeah.
Almost.
I wonder what the lockout is, because usually when you're with a financial advisor, you have to keep your funds locked up for a certain amount of time. I bet they're all fucking kicking and screaming.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
Hard to
tell.
But
he was already. Remember, he was tweeting about, I don't have time to take your.
Yeah, he's probably got a lot of like very nasty like letter bombs in his email box. From fun stuff to
well, didn't he even like fire some clients, right? Like didn't say like I'm gonna be letting some clients go.
I have no idea about.
Yeah, he did. He posted it.
So from fun stuff to just sad. So we finally got 2 new releases from Landvik. First of all, we got the interrogation that, Michael seems to think is a deposition for some fucking reason.
Well, this wasn't even. I mean, it was, but I mean, this was just initial questioning after he was arrested.
Right.
Like they brought him to the station, and he starts getting questioned.
Yeah, and knowing Houston Wade, he thought that he could basically talk his way out of.
He certainly tried
all of this
with Brenda and Sarah, and talking to himself,
and started trying to he tried to Hollywood it. You know what the term Hollywooding is in poker?
No.
It's where if you're in a hand and you're trying to make it look like, oh, it's really tough to fold this, or oh, I'm just gonna muck it or whatever. You're trying to elicit a response out of the other party. So the whole when the police are out of the room doing the
talking to himself,
stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't want to play too much of this because I don't think I really have anything to really add too much other than some of the funny parts. My favorite part.
Well, he starts out really nice, right? He's like, "You okay?"
Right.
And you want some water and a snack? And then he's like, so let me read you these messages that I have.
Yeah. And just starts breaking him down.
Yep.
There's of course some great parts towards the end.
Yeah. He says, "You're not better than Epstein. You're not better than Trump."
Okay. And then let me see here. Where was the other one?
Do you have the video of it or just screenshots?
Well, I have the video right here, but I just wanted to do screenshots because it was easier. So this was I believe what was this one? It was my favorite part of the Houston Wade interrogation: how to cope with being unfuckable in 3 picks. But Bumble hasn't really produced anything for me. I think there's just really hot bots on Bumble, and you match with them and then they never call back. Sure. I mean, I'm sure there's a fair bit of that, but if you're not getting any callbacks, then
well, they ask him what apps he's on. He's like Hinge and Bumble.
And also, what was that was his excuse that I was just out there to get a steak and to fuck a Navy wife.
Right. And then he was like, well, the ship just came back in. Saying all of the Navy wives aren't going to be out and about because their husbands are all home.
All home, yeah.
Well, he kept saying I wanted to get laid, and I was like,
yeah. I think I don't think I missed anything by just looking for the highlights from other people who watched it and saving myself a bunch of. I think you're muted there, Platt. Yeah, you're disconnected.
It's just gross.
Yeah. Then of course we got this. I waited on bringing this out because I thought there might have been new charges coming from it, but I think this was what caused the new charges. Was this parent who had basically was talking about their kid having ran into his Instagram.
So did you watch the core one? Because after someone pointed this out to me, I started watching this thing. But so Landvik somehow got he says something interesting in the video. It's the one where he's in court with the new charges. Mm-hmm. And he says something interesting about how he got a warrant for the Instagram messages. So I don't know who Landvik is or what his role is in this. I don't know if he's a cop or what he is, but he's talking about how he got a warrant. But
I don't recall anything about that.
That's what I'm saying. I thought it was interesting too. It's in the video where he's in court.
That one was in the charging documents
for the new charges, right? So, the one who's 20 now, he actually met with in person, and the other one was the messages that we saw of the one. It was I'm 15, I'm 15, I'm 15, basically, fuck off. So the one who's 20 now, when she was 16, he carried on a whole relationship with her.
I suddenly feel very uncomfortable.
Yeah, and he Landvik goes through a lot of that. I'm not gonna.
Like, you can go to his channel if you want to. I
Yeah.
just feel like this is like a refresher for people in the meme stock community. If you want to go there, or if there's something that I think is particularly newsworthy, like I've already planned to schedule off so I can watch the trial. So,
Well, Landvik, so he calls her RS. And this is the one where I think the majority of the charges are coming from.
mhm.
Was this? I can't even call it a relationship because it's gross. Was this one girl who's now 20? She was 16 at the time, and they.
I mean, she's a victim.
She is a victim.
That's
but
really
I
all you
think
can like.
that's where from what, because he goes into great depth, and the majority of the new charges that came, I believe, came from
Right.
her.
We also
And he actually asked her to go recruit more girls. So there may be something coming from that as well. I don't know. I don't know, like, if you can call it prostitution or how they would classify it, but he wanted
sex
her.
trafficking ring. Oh, I mean,
Right.
it's not trafficking, I guess, since he.
So they had this dom sub relationship. So he basically instructed her to recruit girls younger than her.
Yuck.
Yeah.
And
then did you see the one where his coworker called in?
Yes, yeah, that one was this one here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I hadn't watched any of it. So.
I can sum it up for you pretty quickly. Like, she worked with him at the pizza restaurant, and the reason she was calling was because on the schedule for on 11/8, he was requesting off for the original meetup date for the 11th, or he wanted to switch shifts with somebody because he was originally working that night.
Right.
And he put in to trade with somebody, and next to it said Houston has a hot date.
Okay.
And now that she knows what was going on, I guess she took like a screenshot of it and was like, I guess she has kids too, and she was like, now that I know, like, I want to turn this over to you guys because, like, she was going on, she was like, he was always the weird guy, but we all loved him, and like, he didn't drink, and he always was the designated driver, and he would drive everybody home. And she did kept saying that he was like the weird guy, right? Like,
but in a way that was more like he just seemed socially awkward or whatever.
Right. But she said, but this one thing, now that she knows what happened, and she's like, none of us can believe that this is who he was. But she's like, but I just can't keep it to myself. I can't live with it. Like, I took a screenshot of it, and I would like to send it to you. And he gives her a Axon line where she can submit the photo, the screenshot that she took of it. Because she just was like,
yeah,
it's
gross.
It's just that it's not sitting right with me. But he was like celebrating it, I guess, as he put it on his request to switch shifts with someone, that Houston has a hot date.
We also got the list of people that will be witnesses, not a super long list, but like 3 pages of witnesses.
Is this the NCIS and the whole crew, or?
Yeah, all the police.
Okay. Yeah, all the police. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if they're working with RS. Like Landvik just gave her initials. I don't know if they're working with her to testify, because she is 20 now. So, and he had her doing terrible things.
Yeah. So we move on to the depth of stupidity. First of all, calling it a deposition, like, dude.
Yeah, it's not.
And then, if you go down the layers, first of all, he says that he has military and political connections, which, I mean, you can sort of say maybe he has political connections, but military connections, like, fucking.
Wait. Houston Wade, who just got arrested for pedophilia, has military and political connections and 2 close contacts who we killed. Who we killed in mass shootings?
He means
I think he were killed.
He doesn't know how to spell it.
Right. So yeah, like
he's sister.
Citation needed. Like, whatever.
Possibly
but
the one.
I'm going to scroll up, but before I do, I want you to guess. Oh shit! It's already on the screen. Who's up there?
He's saying his parents are drug addicts.
No.
Citation needed.
His sister, the one their family took in when her parents were drug addicts, had a best friend who died in the Parkland shooting. So, okay, the first
person. Fucking, so like someone not related to him.
Yeah.
Not even
her best friend. This is like
Michael, you sat on the couch with him.
My sister's best friend.
Yeah, I know, right? You have a direct connection. Like, yeah, okay, it's like we'll get to that.
That part from Ferris Bueller where he's like, my sister's best friend's cousin's boyfriend saw them at 31 Flavors last night. Like, that's
okay. So
God,
no surprise. The person he's responding to with this is Candace fucking Owens.
Oh God.
Which, by the way, she is becoming persona non grata really fast.
Well, she's losing her mind. She said that like Charlie time traveled. Like they're all losing.
And then she got a cease and desist from
Charlie time traveled to visit her.
So it's a whole story that I'm not going to get into here, but it's just absolutely crazy, and everyone is just basically disowning her, but not Crazy Michael, of course, because she speaks his language.
And then he just brings up this, like, that's
Look
not
how he spells despite having all these connections and masters from Harvard. He was working at a piece of
it's Harvard again.
He doesn't have a master's from Harvard. I don't even know if he has a master's.
He doesn't even know. He doesn't have
Houston.
I guarantee.
Hold on. Houston interviewed Al Gore, worked for Elizabeth Warren, and had a carbon credit money laundering company.
No.
His dad was Navy and he was ROTC. Like, this is, what does he say?
This is classic Michael, where he just makes shit up.
Remember when he said my dad worked for NASA?
Yeah.
This is just Michael making shit up, like he normally
His roommate is ultra-Orthodox and infiltrates rival socialist groups to undermine them because he's a socialist.
Meanwhile,
wants to get rid of white nationalism. His
his
roommate's rabbi also works in Thailand, I'm sure, fighting sex trafficking. So of course he's got to work in a Jewish angle here.
Right, of course. But like, here's the part
how
about
does he
this.
know so much about him, anyways. But I mean, all of
he doesn't. He makes shit up.
Yeah.
Well, I know that the Orthodox Jewish thing is something that Houston Wade brought up on a PP show live stream, and the whole angle of him infiltrating right-wing groups was something that Houston Wade said. So take that as you will, if that's a true statement or not, because we don't have his rabbi friend to, tell us one way or the other. But works really great for Michael's anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. I just want to take a brief moment for this section and point out that he is working so hard to make Houston Wade and to be this like Jewish evil left-wing psyop.
Houston Wade's neighbor was killed in the Vegas shooting. So like literally every high-profile mass shooting, Houston Wade had somebody involved in it. Like, come on.
Normal Michael stuff. But like Michael is going out of his way to try and absolve his associations with Houston Wade by saying he's this evil Jewish left-wing psyop when dude was literally sitting on a couch with him at a Pulte event. Let's tag in some of Michael's other exploits, like Ramez, the woman stalking, threatening to rape people's mothers on a plane guy. All right, cool. Then of course there's the Pulte event where Pulte gets the trophy, that says he fucks only the young while having this tweener, barely legal Zoomer porn on his X account. Cool, check. Also supports Mike Gatz, who by all rights could technically be charged with sex trafficking for moving minors across state lines so he could have sex with them in a state where it wouldn't be a minor, that would be legal sex. Take that how you will. And then, of course, Mike Gatz also thinks that it is a Jewish conspiracy against him. So, just go bowling all for Michael there. And then on top of that, we have the fact that Pulte and PP and Michael were in a space/Rumble call with fucking Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate, who stand accused in multiple countries of sex trafficking, including potentially minors. So, Michael, just stop. Just stop. I don't need to make up this like spiel that you're making up about Houston Wade, about the evil liberal connections. These are direct. Like, you and the person, point A to point B, one line on a chart between you and the person doing the thing. So, like, I don't fucking know what you're trying to do here, but it's just not gonna work for you, buddy. Like, you want to accuse everyone else of being part of this like Epstein pedo ring nonsense when you're like 0 degrees of separation between you and an actual sex trafficker. So we'll just leave it there. We've got.
Did you read HW biography page? What's that?
No. Houston Wade's biography page, I assume.
Oh.
I have no idea what that's.
No thanks.
I wish there was a way to zoom in on this. We also got the. We're in the MMTLP section now.
Wow.
Speaking of other things,
fun.
Wade is there. So we have the collage here of Polish Dildo and all of his compatriots about how Pam Bondi was working with Ham and Polish Dildo and Scam Investor and the gang to help the MMTLP community. Gonna go out on a limb and say that didn't fucking happen. What do you guys think?
Nope.
No, he believes anything. He's very gullible.
Oh yeah, I do remember him saying that, or maybe it was Pedro that said that. No, guys, he legitimately had a meeting with Pam Bondi. I'm like, no, he fucking didn't.
Mike AMC questions to Gronk. I don't know anything about this.
Oh yeah, he talks to Grok all the time.
I'm sure he does. Then, of course, we have apparently the new MMTLP squeeze that they're going to get the South Korean government involved.
Oh, great.
Not that they have any particular jurisdiction over any of that, but sure.
Yeah, you see Ann Vanders for all the like, oh, so Atkins will be forced.
I'm glad you're taking up that nickname I gave her.
This does not just affect MMTLP investors. Like, they're laughing at these people. They're like the FIF. They probably call the SEC every day, whether it's about rules or an offering or a filing, whatever. Like, their whole job is to explain this stuff to brokers. So they're laughing at them. Like, she's making it sound like they have, this smoking gun and all this, like, it's literally nothing. It's nothing.
Maybe you guys can explain this whole George Palikaris going after Sam thing, because I have no clue what it is other than seeing what happened afterwards. And
I don't know the lore.
Really
I don't know the lore with this, but like the rumor went around because like Sam works in DC or she did. And the rumor went around like when they very first were there, like talking, going in and out of Congress's office or whatever, a rumor started that like Sam was going in after them, like, and trying to sabotage their efforts or something. But even like, Richie and I don't know, somebody else, people who were there said that wasn't happening. But Sam just like is, been calling them out, and she is, I think, closest or is Congress adjacent or, has some affiliation in DC. So they believe that she is like, I don't know, persona non grata, I guess.
I don't think it has to do with that because.
Okay, good. See, I don't know the lore, so I was just guessing.
Well, she thinks he got so triggered that day because like she had, I don't know, tweeted an excerpt of the SEC charges, you know, a piece of it. And potentially he's in shambles about that case, right? Because did you read everything he wrote? Like he accused her of like dating somebody from Atlas.
Yes, I saw that.
He said that she came around in like September of 2021, but all you have to do is look at her account.
Look at her thing.
It
It's
started in
20
December of
Yep.
2022. Like
She wasn't there
September
like
21.
before the halt, right?
And so because we were like asking her like, what do you think it was, right? Because she's obviously like shill of the week. I mean, clearly, right? When you get a full thread. And she's like, I wasn't doing anything different, you know. It's just I think this excerpt from the SEC charges just set him off, and he just went crazy.
And with
what's the part about the $1 to $20 with the Italian investors?
It could be anything. I think it could be anything. Like maybe that. I have no idea.
No, I was saying what was the excerpt that she posted from?
Right,
the
I'm not
charges?
sure.
Was it? Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. So
exactly.
that's what you were mentioning there is like.
Well, he seems to be relying on the fact that you know, that call was private or something, right? In his like response.
Oh yeah, that so he's playing the Josh game of it. It was
like it was never supposed to be public, right? It was never supposed to be public, right? Like it was never supposed to trade
to the public,
right? He didn't say it wasn't material. It was in an investor call.
Yeah, they released the information, so it's actually coming from them, not me. That's what he tried to say.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like it's.
So we had several.
Oh wait, there you go. It came after the tweet about the knowledge of no buyers and the SEC charges.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can see why he is very ass hurt about that one because it really makes him super criminal looking.
Well, and also like, so do you know that Scott Trout apparently? Okay, this is what he said. He had like a Zoom call with George, and apparently George told him that they have 150 companies on a list that they were talking to, and I'm like, well, why didn't they say that? Because that's pretty much the whole case from the SEC, right? And he's like, oh, I don't know. And they wouldn't, I guess they won't give him the list of 150, but that's what George said, I guess, to Scott, according to Scott.
I mean, I could believe that George would lie like that, but, you know.
I mean,
might want to talk to the SEC.
Didn't he also say that the trustee or something in the bankruptcy suit said that they had it too?
Well, apparently, I think so. I think he said that George told them to or something. I don't even know.
Okay, let's just segue just a little bit here because Michael has commented about our show.
Of course he did. Because he really didn't like at all that I called him out for his like fucking scheme. Now, did he?
Let's see.
Did he post a video so we can prove that it's him?
No. Unfortunately. There you go.
I love how our other Michael. I thought you were talking about Michael Jones.
No.
Pretend Michael.
As expected, tonight's episode of Bashers was fairly anticlimactic. Cohen will be releasing a video to address and cover the following topics. Explain how
cover two following topics. Look, because he can't spell or write. And cover two following topics.
Michael talks just like Cohen. Explain. Like we start with zero.
Could you zoom in a little bit so the text is a little clearer for viewers.
We start with zero here. Explain how we.
It's like negative
this
one.
This is clearly ChatGPT. Let's be honest here.
Before we start, we're starting with zero. Explain how we value deals to determine how much we pay in stock for acquisitions, inventory write-up and accounting memos, oil and gas properties.
Great.
What is a ladder attack?
Good.
Hold on. What is a ladder attack? Selling into the bid at low volume on high spread and show real-life examples.
Great. I can't wait for those.
And ARC, U.S. GAAP accounting guidance internally prepared. Short interest versus short volume. Show trade statistics and show chart plus FinTel and explain the difference between the two, i.e. short interest is a reported percent of shares held short as of the date versus actually traded shares reported on a daily basis that classify as short sales or bar its
Wow, he learned how
shares
to read a Wikipedia
Sure.
article.
to
Congrats.
officially decrease. This is all ChatGPT.
Well, that's still not even right. Yeah, that's
It's
still
not right. It's not
right.
right. Because like some of the short volume, like if
How long?
they're well, they could be like minute, like less than a second long, but because of the
Yeah.
way that it gets entered, it goes under short volume.
Especially
but anyway,
like something like this where there's no liquidity.
AP financing of fixed assets. This is extremely simple concept that gets used every day in capital intensive businesses. Oil and
Great, then you
gas.
should be able to explain it really quick.
I mean, right? Related
Every
parties.
day. I mean,
There's,
that's weird
hold on.
because
There's
Exxon didn't-
zero relationship between Marcus Lawan and Vision/AZRH. If
Right.
Cohen has a long-lasting relationship with a company that he has acquired, that does not make it a related party. Cash versus cash flow.
Hold on. As an organization or entity that would not be deemed arm's length and transacts with the public. So,
i.e., if Cohen engaged his girlfriend,
how is
company on
long-lasting
marketing
relationship
services.
and arm's length? Like, how is that any different?
Right.
Anyways,
cash versus cash flow. 20K cash, but 550K revenue last quarter. The money in the bank is not a stagnant number. Vision gets paid every week as it produces oil and gas every day.
Right.
Money is always coming in and going out.
You can
That's how
say
business
that
functions.
literally about the whole financial statements. It is a snapshot in time. But looking at that snapshot in time and noticing how the numbers are not jiving is the point. We get it. A business is a moving, breathing, living entity, and we can only look at the times in which financial statements are produced. So that is such a fucking cop out. Shut up.
so
Why you can't say a public CEO of a company is going to jail when there's no investigation or court records that would indicate
I don't
this?
think he understands what SEC charges actually means.
He doesn't.
No one's going to jail.
He doesn't at all. Going concern and its disclosure requirements. Walk through U.S. GAAP guidance on when and why the need to disclose exists and why include this disclosure in our financial statements, given that we are a high volume oil and gas. Like, use a fucking comma, Josh. Oh, sorry, Michael.
or a fucking period, or maybe a semicolon or
Just
something.
like use some punctuation, which you never do. Which
Well, this is all one sentence.
proves that this is you, not Michael. CTT tool inventory and accounting. Growth capex versus maintenance capex, and explain
that we are only selling and not renting the tools. Well, then fucking book it like you're selling the tools and not renting them. Just like.
Well, he said he's not doing anything with them right now.
Are recording maintenance as OPEX. OPEX only, or capex? What do you mean? He said
OPEX only. Okay, great. Can't wait to see it.
Yeah, it's gonna should be great. Thank you, Michael.
Yeah, thanks, Michael. You should do the video too. You should say hello.
Yeah, you should
totally drop in.
Yeah, so we can see.
Oh, come by. Yeah, like you, Mr. Level-headed Michael. You come on in. And you're getting paid $200,000 a year. Come on by.
Yeah, let's see.
PR for your company.
See what you look like.
So back at MMTLP zone, it can be an MMTLP day without making something about.
Oh my God, all about them. Yeah, get in there and make it about you.
You.
Oh, they were making it about them on MLK Day. Great.
Yes, they were. Of course, they were.
Every day. All the days.
Then of course, what is it, like 2 weeks or a week too late? Of course, we get Frank Nez finally dropping an article about.
Oh my God, is this about the conference?
Yeah.
Got it.
Rally, the protest.
Oh, yep. Look, there it is.
Amazing.
Wow.
Any questions?
That's
questions.
Anyone? No?
That's how you know
over there?
That's how you know that Frank Nez is a blocker and not a fucking news outlet. But we have finally moved on from MMTLP. We are now in a territory that we haven't been in a while. But it's a good transition. I'm going to put this at 1.5 speed, as we're going to welcome back to the show for the first time in a long time, Ethan.
Oh God.
Good morning, subscribers, and welcome to AMC Lawsuit and Justice, Project Popcorn
Dude,
Scheme.
can you
Quick update.
your volume? There we go. Maybe that'll help.
Last night at approximately 7:53 p.m. Eastern Time, I spoke by telephone with Ann Vandersteel for over 16 minutes. During our conversation, I thanked her for hosting the January 12th, 2026 press conference and for continuing to shine light.
Speaking of getting in there and making it all about you.
What occurred within the MMTLP community, events that constitute a profound miscarriage of justice affecting more than 65,000 retail investors. I explained to Ann that the AMC shareholder community is now beyond fractured, having become deeply divided and in many respects compromised by misinformation, conflicted interest, and coordinated narratives that obscure material facts. I emphasize that this division has severely undermined accountability and allowed misconduct to persist largely unchecked. I further brought to her attention that AMC CEO Ad Marin is a bad actor and is complicit with AMC insiders, Citigroup, Riley Financial, D.F. King, Antara, the NYC, and other market participants in a coordinated scheme known as Project Popcorn.
Does he not know that yet that his Project Popcorn claims are moot? That like the statute of limitations is told on those? Has he not figured that out yet?
Who cares?
Like
Never forget. He has a bracelet.
I just never forget what they have taken from us.
Never forget Project Popcorn. Literally.
Issuances, corporate actions, and shareholder communications in a manner that disadvantaged retail investors while benefiting institutions that were naked short and insiders who front-ran the scheme and sold shares based on insider information. I also notified Ms. Ann that I filed multiple Freedom of Information Act FOIA
I just can't.
requests with the SEC. These include an initial FOIA request seeking disclosure of the cost incurred by the SEC to produce and disseminate the so-called pie-in-the-face videos, which many retail investors who viewed it as mocking and dismissive. For those who may not recall, these videos cost us, taxpayers, over $500,000 to produce. So here's my...
Holy shit, I just mentioned to Platinum today that I found MMTLP through AMC/Ethan/Amy. Now this mofo is played here. We can't get enough of Ethan. He's our favorite soft-sit loser of the AMC community.
Yeah.
FOIA request. As you can see, I filed it with the SEC on June 2nd, or they acknowledged it on June 2nd, 2022, and it was actually filed on June 1st. I asked for all records regarding Investor Media meme stocks, and here's the video, one of the three that they produced. So it was called Investor Media.
Are they still asked her about this?
Like with the orange hair.
It wasn't making fun. So missed the
for 30
point.
seconds.
Like I don't care about the fact that you're playing.
I gave her notice about that. I also advised Ann Vandersteel that these issues are supported by documentary evidence, including sworn affidavits, discovery materials, and regulatory records, not speculation. Following our discussion, I emailed her the statement of facts we prepared, along with the Daniel Meyer transmittal affidavit and its accompanying exhibits, so she could independently review the timelines, internal communication, and supporting.
Which is all irrelevant. Again, your time claims are time barred.
Haven't looked over or don't know what we're talking about with regards to the Daniel Meyer affidavit, you can go to google.com.
He's getting 7 inches of snow. Dang. Pretty sure we only got 4. I like how he couldn't be bothered to fucking edit this video. He's literally fumbling around through his Google Chrome tab.
Transmittal affidavit.
This dude is the best.
Bernstein, Berger, and Grossman LLP. Also, AMC still saving it on the website.
Also, I love that his microphone makes him sound like that he's talking
represented us.
into the hallway.
So let's go to Bernstein, Berger, and Grossman. Hit the hyperlink. This is the affidavit, as you can see up here. It's 920 pages. And it's called the Daniel Meyer transmittal affidavit. You have headers, exhibit number, the Bates range, and exhibit description. It goes all the way down to 30. I shared my view with Ann Vandersteel on how to make meaningful reform, and that requires decisive legal and civic action. I explained that 2 concrete steps could lead to sweeping systemic change. She's actually familiar with this because a friend of mine from high school actually held a space call on Twitter, and the subject matter was citizen-initiated grand jury petition. So I brought it back to her attention.
So he has Genius Group as a bookmark, it looks like. Let's see what else. Miami-Dade County something, Algo Developer, some software thing, Genius Group Limited, and then Florida Bar Member, something or other, and then some funding thing. Okay.
Oh, Newsmax. That's a great. Oh, hey, our favorite disbarred lawyer, Donahue George. Getting to him in a second.
I'm not familiar with our judicial system currently, or in 6 other states actually. Initiated grand jury petitions do exist, but it's not codified on the federal level. What that means is, in a state like New York, only the government has discretion to actually prosecute someone. So what funds or
we know about
anybody in New York or
Sob
other
Citizen,
states, for example, Adam Aaron and insiders, we impanel a grand jury. We do the same thing with a prosecutor.
Yeah.
You know who's placed there that protects these bad actors. Second would be the filing of writ of mandamus, and I've been harping on this. I'm just waiting for someone.
Your hint that the person who helped our other favorite Sob Sit file his writ of mandamus was indeed fucking Ethan. Thanks for that. Nelson Willis.
Take the baton. Hopefully, when I spoke to Ann Vandersteel, hopefully she takes it and she said she'll speak to her group of attorneys. A writ of mandamus is required, and maybe she does it with MMTLP and she files a petition with the federal court and petitions the court, and the respondent would be the SEC. And the relief she would be seeking is for the SEC to enforce securities law.
Yeah, that didn't work out so hot for Scott Trout now, did it? I think I'm done there. I just want to briefly take a bit of a moment just to update. Right now, we're only dealing with the DTCC and FINRA's motions to dismiss. I believe the court is fully briefed, and I expect within a month we'll probably hear back from the court telling Donahue George to fucking kick rocks as far as DTCC and FINRA. I went over, I think, in a video last week, his silly ass claims to try and join FINRA and the DTCC. He so far, I don't think, has successfully served the rest of the parties. So for now, that's that. AMC does have some news though. After restructuring all that debt and everything, well, apparently, according to sources familiar with the matter from Bloomberg, the debt holders are back in talks with AMC again. It's barely the new year.
I mean, they have a bunch of shares available now, so
what I've heard, some, like this article.
We're about to see a BYND situation.
This article's kind of a nothing burger article because it just like it explains that we heard this thing, and that's about the extent of the article. We don't know why or anything like that, but
we know why, because they just got some more shares approved,
right? And then they can
give me some of them shares, let me sell them on the market.
Right. They can they can go ahead and do their convertible bond issuance and get the fuck out of Dodge.
Exactly.
Which might be what's going on.
It's happening.
It spooked the bond market a little bit because the bonds were trading at above par, and now they're trading just slightly below par. It was a 5 cent.
I mean,
not anything. Really,
yeah, barely anything.
Yeah.
But that is, I think. Oh yeah. I'm sure AMC is feeling pretty sour about this one, with how high that Hycroft has been rocketing as of late. And they dumped early last year.
They had HYMC too?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
AMC did.
Sprott. Oh yeah, they did. They sold it at didn't they sell it at $10?
Yeah, something like that.
Dummies. But I think they still have some though.
Yeah, they still have some, but like the majority of their position. They sold enough that they no longer have to report, pretty much. Also, we got this one, which is pretty funny. AMC Colt sub is now completely dead. Only Oratex Kiddo left bagging into the void. And this is the AMC subreddit on Reddit. Well, obviously on Reddit, but ain't nothing happening here. And if you think that these upvotes are really great, we've proven that most of these upvotes have been Oratex guy just buying engagement. So AMC bulls are and just as sad of the state as Project Popcorn. Don't get it twisted.
Well, they're cut from the same cloth, right? So I mean they're
right. Also, we have, speaking of Bam, who we started off this segment with, he's like, I'm still bullish on AMC, guys. Yeah, just like you were bullish on Mullen. Dude, tell
New
us
buyers see the opportunity to 2x, 5x their money.
But I'm totally not promoting a MOAS, guys. That Adam Aaron killed that. But you can definitely get 2 to 7. 2 to 7 now. It's not 2 to 5. It's 2 to 7.
The 2101 run up was 800%, and some of these grifters call 2100%. That ain't happening. He's going to dilute you.
Yes, he is. So our next segment is going to be the fun segment because it means that that Platinum will become our. Well, I'll be the driver still, but Platinum will be the navigator. Which you know what time that is? It's GameStop time. So we've got some news article stuff in here that's fun stuff, and some news article stuff in here that's kind of recaps from other things, and then of course the big news from the week. So and some meme stock shenanigans in there too. But we'll start out with apparently GameStop had an infinite money glitch where you could trade in a Nintendo Switch 2 with a game and get more back in credit than the actual value of the Switch and the game.
Yeah, because weren't they doing like a 25% something?
Yep. Mm-hmm. And so that had to be patched out. I'm sad I missed out. That would have been, I don't think it would be very sustainable. You could only do it a couple times.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, good on them that they patched it out. But, like, I don't think it would have been that super big of an issue. Because it's hard to do something like that on scale.
Yeah.
Next, we had responding to, if you guys remember from, I think it was last week when we talked about the IGN article about a lot of these companies giving out about.
Yes, Tony, he does.
A lot of. Does BAM go bullish just ahead of known dilution every ticker? Yeah.
Never forget Mullen. Never, ever.
Never forget Mullen. But like the IGN article, a couple other articles came out basically like giving out that, GameStop's closing 400, 500 stores. And by the way, Ryan Cohen is also getting this crazy large pay package. Now, of course, it's on a scale depending on how well the performance is. But naturally, people are going to look at the top line metric, even if it's virtually unachievable, and be like, that's kind of crazy that he's potentially in line for that and doing all of this. However, Salvatore is like, this is the third time you've misrepresented Ryan Cohen's compensation package. The sarcastic undertone around closing stores will not be accepted either. This is your last warning.
So stupid. Like, he's somebody who misrepresented Ryan Cohen's selling Bed Bath & Beyond, Ryan Cohen being involved in the bankruptcy, doing
somebody who misrepresented that he was laundering money.
Right, and said he was taking care of his mom. Like, give me a break. This guy was
actually in jail.
Yeah, like that was my comment. I said I don't think IGN has much to fear from a guy who's a felon living in the UK. Just of course, we couldn't get through GameStop without a brief moment and aside from rants. Oh.
Don't have 1 million shares. I've been here for a long time. Not a good time. I'm not just here for the day. I'm here for the stay, babe. And Ryan Cohen, he's here for the slay. This guy's killing it, man. Killing it. The business is doing better than ever. They're about to announce $500 million worth of profits. They're about to show you what they can do with $9 billion cash. They're going to show you the partnerships. They're going to show you the exchange. They're going to show you everything. And they don't have to do it this way. You don't want to pay attention. You think it's their fault? I guarantee you, he's got with the lawyer, and he said, you know what? What the fuck's non-public information? I don't have a single advisor coming to me, knocking on my door saying, what are you doing, GameStop? What's the deal? What's going on? What's non-public? They're the only investors in it. They told everybody there's no surprises here. What's the surprise? What's the problem with not telling you it's about to go through the moon? He's loading up? What? You wanted to know? Maybe you should have covered the stock. Maybe you guys should have wrote a good article. Maybe you shouldn't have wrote him off into the dead. Maybe you shouldn't have talked shit behind his back. All of you want to be YouTubers. All you TikTokers. All of you Twitter punks.
This obviously is him being triggered about the IGN article at about the same time that, Ryan Cohen was said that he was buying in. So obviously he's buying in because, something big is coming, even though that would be trending on. non-public material information, and he's trying to say
that's
that
what he's
that's
talking about, like trying
Right.
to say that it's not. Whatever. Okay.
Yeah, but like this is his entire thing. He like, look, like this has always been my biggest problem with Ryan Cohen. It's like if he's got a plan, the market would reward him if he literally just said fucking anything. Literally
Or just did it.
anything. Yeah,
He
or
doesn't
just
have to
did
say
it.
anything. He can just do it.
Right. Either way. But of course, like, you know, when you're a cult leader like Morantz, there has to be some hidden meaning in there somewhere, something that we can't possibly know or see because Ryan Cohen is fucking God incarnate. Fucking whatever. Just a brief aside to connect a joke.
Hasn't Cohen literally said, like, if there's something to tell, I'll tell it?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of been his thing. He doesn't do a lot of interviews or anything like that.
Yeah.
I just want to do a brief connecting through line on this.
I got something to say about these articles I'm reading this morning. So there was some pretty detailed articles, and I never get lost into the idea that you're reading something because they want you to read it. Like, and I want people to know that that's how media works and the consumption of it, because private equity owns the media.
Oh, well, hey, speaking of which, what does Morantz think?
Which episode of
private
Connect the
equity
Dots is this?
Yeah, like, wait, I think we have a key part of this we're missing. What does Morantz think private equity is? I think we have a video that
differences between this picture.
He didn't. Do you even know like who runs the world? Sovereign funds, right? Private equity. The influence from a certain group of people. They all start with a J.
Oh, okay.
Now, of course, you can see what the next clip is going to be.
Michael, is that you? Oh, there we go.
Well, I mean, there he is.
And so it's like if he's going to, you know, fix the problem, he would definitely prefer to start with the liberal Jews that have their globalist agenda and deal with them rather than the other ones.
Who's he talking about?
I guess it just is what it is.
Cohen?
Trump.
Oh.
Yeah. Because this is from his little Epstein conspiracy web video. So Trump is trying to get rid of all the evil liberal Jews.
Intel has told us there are at least 7. They're the same picture.
I mean, yeah. Okay. Can I get out of this now? There we go. But yeah. So now we know what, you know, Morantz means when he says private equity. He means the Jews. Just wanted to clear that up for everybody. I learned about that this week. Now you get to learn too. Right. So let's find something fun to talk about. Where was it? There it is. There's the article I was looking for. Bam. So yeah, Ryan Cohen did buy more shares. I'll let Platinum handle this. You're the GameStop investor. So how many shares did he buy?
Wasn't it like 500,000 shares?
I think something like that. Yeah.
Or like $10 million.
So a million shares?
I don't even know.
Yeah, because most of the times when you're investing in a company, you don't usually follow the white noise every week. You just kind of put your money.
I mean, I retweeted the SEC filing. I just can't remember right now. It's late. Hold on a second. I'm tired.
I did kind of ambush
the
you.
500,000. Yeah, so it was 500,000. So it was $1 million total.
About 1 million shares.
Yeah.
And a couple of the other board members bought shares. Elaine Attal bought some. I think. Did anyone else? I can't remember. But they both bought shares. And I mean, I think that's a good thing. I think it's great when insiders buy shares.
Yeah, and I that's pretty good there. I think that makes for a great transition into our next section.
Oh yeah, good luck with that.
He would never.
That would be
he barely does interviews as it is. I personally would love for him to go on the PP show and tell him he has nothing to do with game.
I would not love that. No, he can't do that. He's still in a lawsuit right now with the estate, so he can't do that. And also, if he were to go on something like that, I don't know, I would not appreciate that.
He would never do something like that.
There was a bit of a chain. I was mentioning that it's fun that PP's is now in the X Market News stage of his grift, where he just, posts things for engagement that will obviously rattle up the baggies and get them to
always has been. What do you mean?
Yeah.
but it's been more blatantly transparent. Like, I mean, look at this post. There's like nothing to it other than it's like something that X Market News would post. Like, there's
should we interview the CEO of GameStop?
Right. It's
that question should be could we interview? The answer is no.
Yeah.
Or should you also know?
We also got this fun chain here. I wish he would, just so Morantz would have the biggest meltdown or best meltdown ever. I said, note, the key to mother of all meltdowns is to get Ryan Cohen to come on Truth Be Told. I'll put you on that one, Platinum. That's your job.
Yeah.
And then I also got back. I'd imagine Marcus Lemonis would be up for shit talking some baggies. Amy, that's your job.
My job. Why?
I mean,
I can get Marcus on
Platinum.
Get them all.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll go right ahead, Platinum.
I can't.
I mean, just give it a try.
What'd you say? You could what?
I can get them on.
yeah, just get both of them. Yeah. I mean, after all, you got Gary Gensler, so obviously that means you got all the connections.
Well, Marcus does follow me on Twitter, so.
Oh, there you go.
Step away.
Just ask him. Just ask him as a. Are you?
How I got Doug. I just asked him straight up, and he was like, "Yeah, let's do it."
Okay. And then I said that's a good point. Maybe I could get him. And then someone said I would donate. That they'd donate $500 if we could get Michael Goldberg. Tried that already.
We would love it.
We would love to have him.
I am such a fan.
Maybe once it's all done.
Yeah, I think he's already weighed the scale with me between being on would be fun, but I also don't want to get harassed by jackasses on the internet any more than I already do. So.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Maybe like when it's all said and done, when he wraps it up, maybe we could get him, but I don't know.
Now, we never can go very far down the Bed Bath & Beyond baggy hole without blatant anti-Semitism and Holocaust denial.
Friggin'
amazing.
Serious. He's awful.
Awful.
He's still waiting. I mean, if it makes you feel any better, he's still waiting for his Sears payout. So
he's been bagged twice. Amazing. In a bankrupt.
Well, probably more than twice. Like, let's be real.
Yes. Fort Bragg.
Right, my Fort Bragg connection. That's what I'll do.
Look, can you confirm or deny if Houston Wade has actual military connections?
He does not.
Yeah, I doubt it. If he said he did, probably not.
Michael's saying that his dad. No, Michael's saying that his dad was in the Navy because NCIS was involved in the sting. And
is that really why?
Why would?
Of course, it's why NCIS is the Navy, and so like, and I still don't understand why NCIS was involved. There's got to be a reason. I don't know if it is the,
Well, I mean,
I don't know. I don't know what the reason
so maybe they found out something that led them.
Right.
Yeah. Wouldn't NCIS be like National Children or something?
No, it's
NCIS is fuck. I know I should know. I watched the show.
Naval
Crimes Investigative.
Yeah, like I don't know if it's because like it's a like Remington is a Navy town.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So like
you got a naval base there.
Yeah.
Naval Criminal Investigation Services. There we go.
There you go.
Oh yeah, investigates crimes against children involving Navy and Marine Corps families.
So that's what I'm saying. So I don't know if it's like one of the victims, if it's the mom who found the messages and was like warning everybody. Like, I don't know how they were involved, but that's where Dum Dum is pulling up the Navy connection.
Wow.
But it has nothing to do with Houston or his family. It would have to do with
I haven't seen anything since his video live stream that he took down.
What happened?
I really
He was doing like a $1 million challenge or something like that, wasn't he? Doing some weird sort of like thing.
And like the guy from BBBY?
Yep.
What was he doing?
he said he was going to do some
business
sort of
$1 million
investing challenge type thing, and then didn't, and then like deleted his account. I think
Like $100 to $1 million.
Something.
Oh Lord.
It was like a ChatGPT like business plan, basically.
Oh God.
Yeah. So why don't you
Just tired for this business.
Platinum? This is usually your neighborhood. I know we talked about this extension like when it first came out weeks ago, but like
Oh yeah,
usually don't
JP
keep up-
Morgan is saying they need more time to come up with documents.
Yeah.
That's it. Because Ryan Cohen had a JP Morgan account. That's why. Fucking idiot.
See, I didn't even realize that was there until I was like, oh wait, there's another image. Click.
Rico. They're literally trying to get Ryan Cohen's trading records.
So stupid.
So PP thinks this is a RICO against Ryan Cohen.
Even though it's Ryan Cohen being
yeah, this is Ryan Cohen uses JP Morgan. That's why they're trying to get the trading records from JP Morgan. So they think this is a RICO case, a RICO something against Ryan Cohen.
I mean, that's where the logic leads. They obviously don't think that, but like,
but I'm saying
so
like
dumb.
when he says that, right, as a RICO thing's got like he doesn't even understand what JP Morgan is getting subpoenaed for.
So he also doesn't understand what's happening here because he's like, oh, this is so interesting. Oh my God, after reviewing the dates, further information, those transactions are the same dates that Ryan Cohen purchased his call options in 2022.
no shit! I wonder why.
He has, like,
They're investigating his trades.
He also purchased stock on those 2 dates. However,
And-
there isn't any request for transactions outside those dates.
Outside
So
of
I'm
those
led to
dates.
believe it's more likely to be related to his purchase of call options.
This absolute dummy
Don't
doesn't
fucking
realize
say.
that the estate's argument is that once he bought the call options, he was over 10% and therefore couldn't sell before 6 months was up. That's what they're trying to say.
Yes, because call
And that's the
options
reason
count as
why
a
they're-
long position for the purpose.
But look at what he's saying. It's beyond likely that JP Morgan leaked news of Ryan Cohen's intention to sell his stock and traded on inside information.
God.
I wonder if this is
So
why
crazy.
Ryan Cohen opted to use JP Morgan to sell his securities, as he knew the fox guarding the hen house would fall into the greed trap. If so, if so, bravo, Ryan. Have an ice cream on me.
So stupid.
I can't. There are not enough
He-
drugs in the world for this shit.
He used them
So
to sell
stupid.
his stock because he used them to buy his stock. Hello. Like, what are you doing? How are you not getting this?
They don't want to get it. That's the problem. They don't.
No,
want
they
to get
really
it.
don't. It's not even that they don't want to. They just can't. Like, there's just not enough available brain cells.
So we finally got the saga on the Ryan Cohen messages.
What do you mean? Oh
Ryan
my
Cohen
God,
messages.
the fake messages. Yeah.
So this is this.
Oh my
one.
God. Do you see the space after the question mark and the space after the exclamation points and how they both write the same way? Nobody writes like that. Gee, or maybe they're between Romez and Romez.
Right. Like, I can't believe people don't understand you can just like change a number and put in a name.
So dumb. Like, how does no one realize that they are writing
Look,
exactly the
I
same?
called bullshit. There's no way Ryan Cohen speaks like an uneducated goof. These text messages don't prove anything. They expose you. That's what they do.
Yeah, this dude really thought he like had something special too. Like, that's
100%.
the even funniest part is that he got so played, and it's so funny. Like,
So,
how do you really think that Ryan Cohen's in your group chat?
Now we're rounding the corner on this, so we can wrap up. We won't get to any of the main stuff. I'll probably do it on an extra because I really do want to talk about the James Fishback stuff because it's. But I don't think we'll have time for that, so we'll do this and maybe a couple other things and then wrap it up. So we have the ex-Dude lawsuit. Do you guys remember this one? What this was about?
I don't think so.
So we had, what was it, Karen Shaughnessy and fucking
Kristen
short killer Kristen, whatever.
Call
Dummy
her,
on the internet.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, the Shaughnessy chick.
That dumb broad.
Dumb broad. I was going to use a different word, but that works. And Ham and that whole motley of moronic idiots had brought this up. This was a lawsuit that was a derivative lawsuit on behalf of a company against Interactive Brokers, and X-Dude was the one doing the lawsuit. Now, you noticed after this lawsuit dropped, like back in October, nary a fucking word was said about this. And there's going to be a reason why. Let's see if I can find where it was, because it is fucking hilarious. Motion to withdraw as attorney. We're going to read this one because it's just great. It is with regret that undersigned counsel is forced to make this motion to withdraw. As set forth in detail and more detail infra and in the accompanying declaration dated January 4th, the relationship between counsel and the plaintiff has been fraught with differences that have now become irreconcilable and hinder the ability to represent plaintiff. These differences range from the mundane, such as granting a routine extension of time to defendant to respond to the complaint, to more serious differences like forcing the parties to engage in unnecessary motion practice related to the proper party in an action related to the questioning of counsel's viewpoint on a proper course of action on how to proceed over an unnamed entity in the matter. Additionally, undersigned counsel was retained as legal counsel. The plaintiff's main counsel, who never made an appearance, is now unwilling to do so. Undersigned counsel does not have the capacity and the capability to lead this complex securities fraud stock manipulation case by himself. How to piss off multiple law firms all at once. Here is the path of irreconcilable differences that exist between client and undersigned counsel that do not make continuing representation possible. Specifically, and without betraying attorney-client privilege, counsel for non-party Interactive Brokers LLC reached out to undersigned counsel to explain that we named the incorrect party as defendant, i.e. Interactive Brokers Incorporated, the holding company and parent company for Interactive Brokers LLC. After conducting due diligence, undersigned counsel now believes that Interactive Brokers LLC is the correct party. Undersigned counsel explained this to the client representative in several emails and phone conversations that took place between December 16th and 17th. Despite the foregoing, plaintiff insists on keeping Interactive Brokers Incorporated in the case as a party, which will undoubtedly lead to unnecessary motion practice before the court, especially since counsel for Interactive Brokers LLC was willing to stipulate a simple amendment to the caption to fix the whole matter. Undersigned counsel does not want to pursue unnecessary motion practice. This, coupled with the client's initial refusal to give a brief courtesy extension over the holidays for defendants to respond to the amended complaint, and the client's insistence that he knew the rules of service better than undersigned counsel, has created irreconcilable differences that make undersigned counsel unable to continue to represent the plaintiff in this matter. That was granted by the court. Then January 14th, we got a letter from plaintiff, or the person representing plaintiff's company, basically saying, hey, we can't find a lawyer. And so the court set a deadline for February 2nd. Since it's a derivatives claim, you have to have a lawyer, a legal counsel that's, does this sort of thing. And also they're a business, so you can't pro se it. So find legal counsel by February 2nd, or you're kind of SOL. January 22nd, they again send a letter saying, we're having a hard time finding counsel, so we'd like an extension. And that pretty well does that. A standard lawsuit, when you're dealing with these kind of grifters, they just see stuff that they want to see in the title, and then, extrapolate that this must be the case that we'll get the naked shorts this time. And not so much. Not so much. But anyway, I think it's a good time for stupid tweet of the week. There's a couple other things. Again, I'll shuffle it off to extra as far as that is concerned. But I will let Amy go first.
Fake hype debunker says BBYQ, if we do not hear any major resolution amendments, recoveries, announcement, final decree by Q1 of 2026, which can give equity to old shareholders in Q4 of 2026, then kick your cans to 2027. Remember, Sears is waiting from 8 years, i.e. 2018, with same codes and Chapter 11 case.
Alrighty.
So if we don't, then you just kick it on over to 2027.
Amazing.
And Sears is still waiting 8 years later. He's going to get paid. He's getting paid
as I previewed at the beginning, my tweet is Josh not knowing the difference between a short sale.
I was almost going to do a Josh tweet too.
Again, as you can see down there, he circled the fucking volume, and including the off exchange and volume.
But he's going to make a video explaining the difference.
I'm sure it'll be just great.
We know the difference, Josh, but can't wait to see.
It'd be nice to know if you actually know the difference. So, alrighty, I'll leave it to you, Platinum.
Okay, hold on. Here we go.
While I get the poll going.
Today.
Camera crew over best night ever. Oh, buyer app. If you don't know, the buyer.
Oh my God.
The Art of Meme event.
That lets you scan.
They did this
in the grocery store and find out who owns the company that's selling that product to you. So you might buy Burt's Bees thinking you're buying.
This is the one with the boat.
But actually, Burt's Bees.
Remember they had the yacht.
$5,000 for. Who's he
yeah, it
talking
doesn't look like there's a lot. That's Ann Carroll. Talking to somebody from this, like, I'm thinking from the Network Access Group, I think.
Oh my.
They have like, I don't know, fake donations or something.
Wait, so it was fake donations?
Well, you know how whatchamacallit, oh, bad mouth beyond.
What? Come on.
What the fuck is this?
I don't know. I don't know what any of this is. I don't know what's happening.
What is this entire event about?
Oh, there's Kai's.
Short hour-long stream from before the event starts. You know, when the event is happening, you got all the noises, all the people.
Oh, okay, so it's before it starts. I guess that makes more sense.
Okay.
Why there's nobody there. But then they just whatever, blah blah blah.
Who are these people?
I think so. This is the chef of the lantern. I think.
So look, it was fundraising for the Bear Company, and they had Ryan Cohen's underwear on display.
Yeah, they had a few different things on display. I saw Maiko had a post of like whatever, some art.
The one that said, this is.
Can you send me a link because I'm gonna rip this. So
it's Maiko. Like he said this is art or something like that, right?
So this was funding for the Bear Trap movie that is perpetually not happening. In perpetuity, it's going to happen. Look, it's like Schrodinger's movie.
It doesn't get resolved unless they get
and not happening until they make the movie.
Well, it doesn't get resolved if they don't win, and we already know they're never going to win. So, what are they ever going to make this movie about?
It's a great question.
It's a great question. Next question.
Later. That'll be an extra. I'm gonna maybe recruit you guys on a different night, and we're gonna fucking go through that disaster fest. Oh my goodness. But yeah,
we paid $5,000 to go to that.
Why? Why would you ever do that?
Don't ask me.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so
I'm going to bed.
We were taking votes. If you're in YouTube, you can do it via the poll. If you are on X, Rumble, or Twitch,
Wasn't that supposed to be on the 19th? That little yacht thing?
No idea.
4th. Okay.
But, yeah. So, any exciting things that's coming up? Can't think of it. Oh yeah. Next week we have a double header of legal trouble for meme stock people. We have Houston Wade having another omnibus meeting.
The 27th, yeah.
Yeah, and then we also have Ethan having another hearing in his "Let me stalk a fucking and harass a fucking
prosecutor,
attorney."
right? Or district attorney, yeah.
Amazing.
Platinum got rubbing my axe vote.
Oh, thank you.
Got
I
a
really
tie,
needed that.
and tie goes to Platinum then.
Thank you so much.
Who won on the YouTube side?
Amy.
I mean, how stupid was it though? Come on. It was a whole event.
It was funny. It was
now.
actually ironic that you talked about Sears because Sears was in my tweet of the week. So, like, it was like when you brought up Sears Revenge there, I was like, oh, this kind of takes the wind out of my sails a little bit here.
I really want to find a way to not.
The stupid part of it is that Sears is still waiting 8 years later. That was like the stupid.
I need
part
to
of
find
it.
a way to not spend $500 and find out how horribly dumb and bad that Discord is that scam investors running.
Just do a GoFundMe.
GoFundMe for $500.
Yeah.
No one is
Just for
joining
1 month
that.
to
Who's
see
paying
how
$500 a month to be in BAM's fucking?
Nobody.
Nobody.
Not even one person?
Does he even know how to operate a fucking Discord, sir?
He probably has some.
I mean, like, yeah, I like the realist in me would be like, I mean, maybe one, but like, why?
Michael AME probably. And he probably runs.
He doesn't have $500 a month. He was gonna try to sell his X account.
Right. He probably got it.
$3 and a piece of change.
Maybe he had some leftovers.
So he could buy an option. I don't know.
Anyway,
Whatever.
we will catch you folks next week, pending some extras to catch up on some things. I hope that you're staying safe out there, given the winter weather. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to shovel my car out of the snow that is piled up. Y'all have a great rest of the